Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening, everybody. Dave Scott here, trying to get through a show tonight because I am still sick. And thank you to Josh Rutledge for filling in last night as I was just in no shape to actually do a show. I'm not going to be doing a roll call tonight because literally I'm like running on fumes here, but I want to make sure we get a show done with you guys tonight because I know you guys look for us and that we look forward to having you guys here as well. And so I've got that cold going on. It started Saturday, when your body starts aching all over where everything hurts. And then all of a sudden you just can't pry yourself off the out of the bathroom, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's been going on the last couple of days. And today it's, I'll be honest with you, I feel like shit. I have like zero energy, and you know what though? I'm not going to give up on the Cryptid Guy or his beautiful Christina because Christina's wearing my favorite hat tonight, and she just looks. I'm going to be honest with you, nothing wrong with saying it. She looks damn hot in it. She does, but not as hot as this. Everybody, not as hot as that. That's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And that's why we love Christian MacLeod around here. So if I don't have the same energy as I normally do tonight, you can blame me being ill. I'm going to say about 40% better than I was yesterday, but still feel like shit. Oh my God. Thank you. I love it. Kurt M. Thank you. As sick as you baby Dave, your beard looks amazing. Thank you. It's actually getting trimmed tomorrow. Yeah, my hair is getting trimmed tomorrow too. So, oh my God. We're gonna have a good show. Christian and Christina are gonna be here for I don't even know the experience or whatever the hell we call this one. We're gonna be talking time travel. And if all of a sudden you see me disappear and then come back, well, it's because I'm being sick right now. So, not to be gross or anything. Hey, let's have a little humor. If we can't laugh, what the hell are we doing here for, right? Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed Josh and Teddy last night for 3 hours of great programming. Josh is just getting used to the system here. That was his first time. He was a little bit nervous. I thought he did well. I thought he did very well with Teddy. Teddy's a lot of fun. She really is, and she's so knowledgeable. Charcoal. What the hell? I'm not going to my barbecue to get some charcoal. What do you have in those fancy towns of yours? Charcoal. But I'll tell you, I'm tired of eating soup. Chicken noodle soup. You know what I noticed is that chicken noodle soup just doesn't taste the same as it used to. Remember, it used to actually, like the broth actually used to taste like chicken broth. And now it's just kind of some sort of, I don't know what the hell it is. It's like colored water with some like boring flavor. It's like literally, it's like looking at beige drywall. It's horrible. So yeah, that's okay. That's okay. All right. I love it. Audacious Amber. Okay, then shit your pants away. Look, that's what that says. Just keep on. Maybe I'll just bring the microphone to the bathroom. I don't know. I got the extension here. I might be able to do that. I doubt it'll fit, but I'll figure it out. I got enough microphone cords. We got about 30 seconds. Let me get this radio side going. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to get into the cryptid world a little bit, telling all sorts of stories. Christian MacLeod is here. Christina is here for, what do we call this segment? I keep forgetting. The experience or the encounter, something like that. One of these days, I'll get it right. But we're going to get going here in like 5 seconds. Stay tuned, everybody. Super Chat is open on the YouTube side. And here we go.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We're going to talk time travel. We're going to talk monsters. We're going to talk legends. The Cryptid Guy, Christian MacLeod, is here tonight with Christina, and we're going to have their monthly edition of weird, strange stories from all around the world. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will kick things off. Follow that up by Robin Haynes and the Cryptid Q&A. So let's get right to it, because two of my favorite people are here tonight. Christian MacLeod and Christina are well-known cryptozoologists, field investigators, and media personalities, best recognized for their work in the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, otherwise known as ACAPS. With years of hands-on research into Bigfoot, Dogman, UFOs, and other unexplained phenomena, they both have built a reputation for blending open-minded curiosity with boots-on-the-ground investigation. Christian's engaging storytelling, along with the blue hat of Christina, well, they both make themselves very popular guests for this subject, and we love having them on here. If you want to find out more, you can go to cryptidguy.com. Let's bring them on in, Christina and Christian. How you guys doing?
My people. Yes, yes, yes. I love you all. Yes. How you doing, brother? I'm sorry you're not feeling good, man. We had that a couple weeks ago. It took a while to kick, man, but you're doing better than I was.
Oh, man, this thing is just beating the tar out of me.
Honestly, you know what helps? Seriously, I know you're going to laugh. Honestly, have a couple of Guinness. I'm telling you. It'll help you. It helps the stomach out. It's a cure-all. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what? I am excited because in 8 months, you guys are going to be up here for CaribouCon. September 18th through 20th. It's going to be your first time up in this region of British Columbia, and people can get their tickets now at cariboucon.com. That's CARIBOO, CaribouCon, CON.com. And we are putting on believe it or not, this is my province of British Columbia's only paranormal conference. It is the only paranormal, UFO, and cryptid conference in British Columbia going on this year.
They don't have any booths on or anything like that up there?
The people just don't put them on.
That's crazy.
There's not as many people up here as you would think that are actually investigating. So the fact that you guys are going to make your way from North Carolina to humble little British Columbia here into the hamlet of 108 Mile Ranch at CaribouCon, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And, one thing about the event that we are doing is we are actually having a lot of really cool people coming. Like Grant Cameron, the ufologist, is going to be here. And we're also going to have many others. The ladies from Beyond the Haunting television show are going to be there. Merle is going to be there. Samantha Mowat, who you know from this show. R. Keith Andrews. Brent Thomas from the Paranormal Portal is coming. And Jacob Rice, paranormal investigator. Lee Strauss from Element 115 is going to be there. And, of course, Christian and Christina are going to come up as well. And the one thing that I love about this event that we are putting on, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but we will, because, I want everybody to take advantage and get tickets for it, because it's going to be an amazing event. But for all of our fans out there, and even people such as yourselves, you've heard me talk about this great area, the hauntings, the Gold Rush Trail and everything. You guys must be excited, never mind just to speak here, but just to see what it's all about.
I was just about to say, we're psyched just to go there and investigate. I'll tell you what, I would love for if you would put up some kind of little, maybe a contest or a raffle or something where your team, me and Christina, would take some people somewhere, maybe in one of your areas, and just do a little investigation, maybe for a little something extra. I'm totally down for that. I think that would be awesome. And the other thing is, I always like telling people, some people think for some reason, just because we're speaking, they can't approach us or talk to us. That's ridiculous. We're just ordinary people. I love talking to people. I know Christine does too. So when we're there, if you see us, just say hi. Don't think that, we're not going to talk to you. I'll be more than happy to have a beer with anyone and hear a story. It's one of the reasons why I love doing what we do, because we meet so many cool people. And Dave's the same way. Everyone thinks Dave's just, he's just, Dave's Dave, kind of leave him alone, don't bother him kind of thing. Dave's one of the friendliest people you're ever going to meet. So it's just one of those things where I love doing these things, especially like in our area like yours, because I know everyone's going to be friendly and we're going to have a great time.
Well, you know what? I have, just like you, Christian, I've been to conferences where you literally cannot find half the people who are speaking there. Yeah. Like they show up for their speaking engagement and they disappear. They're not there to hang out with the crowd. They're not there to talk about the stories. They're not even there to have a beer with. You know what I'm saying?
What's the point?
All of a sudden they just show up and poof, they're gone again. And you're like, well, I wanted to say hello. Like I wanted to, talk a little bit. I've never met you before. I've been to conferences where people have been on this show and I'm like, hey, I'll see you in a couple of weeks at such and such a conference. And you get there and you never see them. And
like you said, it's like they think they're VIPs or they'll come in, they've got a couple people with them. And then the second they're off stage, those people get in front of them, they come around and then they leave. Like all of a sudden, like, they're Elvis. I never understood that.
Yeah. Our conference is different. I have, and Christian can attest to this, I have said to every one of our guests coming to CaribouCon that you were there to be there for the people.
Yep.
You were there to chat with them, not only speak, but chat with them. If you, let's say you come up and you want to do the ghost tour with Christian's group, you say, hey, I want to go with Christian. We're going to make sure you get to go with Christian and Christina. This is just the way it works. Like we're there to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to hang out with the ones that they want. If you want to go on a Skywatch with Lee Strauss and Grant Cameron, you go do that. hang out with the people that you want. And that's why I would love to see as many of our listeners go to cariboucon.com and check it on out and get your tickets, because it is going to be a great event, and
well, and the other thing is, for what you're charging, I mean, I don't get into money. It's not my thing, but for what you're charging, I mean, that's nothing for what we're going to be offering. I mean, we're all willing to hang out with people. I mean, I know this is going to sound strange, but one of the weird things about us is our 800 number goes right to our phones. Mm-hmm. Like there's no machine in the office. I mean, this one different area right here is the office. All right. But we don't have it. All contact is via us, through us. And we're not afraid to talk to anybody. I've taken calls at 2 a.m, and that's because I consider that my job. And if I can talk to someone and help them out, or, they give me information, that's what we're there for. To me, we're learning just as much as everyone else is, because I believe you can always learn from other people and their experiences, especially when you're in an area like yours. I mean, that's just a special place on earth. So I'm looking forward to it. But I was surprised it was, I'm not trying to be rude, but I was surprised it was that cheap, because some other people are charging triple that. Yeah. So I saw a yacht thing or a 2-day boat cruise that was $1,600 for a cryptid yacht cruise. Are you serious? What is that?
Yeah,
Pogo. I mean,
unless you're going to see a megalodon, that's too much.
Well, no, they're just going up and around some islands and
So VIP tickets for our event right now are on sale for $179.
That's nothing.
Yeah, and remember, if you're coming from the U.S., that's Canadian dollars.
Yeah, that's
not American dollars. So I think that's literally like $120 for the entire weekend. Which, let me tell you what you get. Not only do you get to hang out with all of the guests, you get a dinner with the guests, you get a ghost tour with the guest of the museum, and that ghost tour takes about 2.5-3 hours. You get to hang out with them. So if afterwards you want to hang out and have a drink with one of the people, or sit around a fire and just chat, you do it. If you want to take in one of the sky watches, because usually September we got big skies up here. Okay, so if you want to take that in, you do that. So there is something for VIPs every day that we have going on there. And of course, the guests are all available. So I've taken everything that I don't like from every other conference, and I've said, this is what we're going to do the opposite for this one.
But see, when you look at it this way, $120. Think about it this way. If you do a regular convention, the tickets are usually $60, $75 a piece. That's without VIP. It's only one day. It's not the night. It's like 2-3 hours. And if you're lucky, you're going to pay someone $20 for a picture, and they sign it for you. I mean, it's ridiculous how the conferences have really started to tick me off. I'm really, really glad you started doing them, because I know yours is going to be awesome. But I can't stand getting nickeled and dimed. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things I know we've talked about in the past. But it's just like, when you're charging someone $25 to sign something, I'm sorry, man, that's an issue. That's wrong. That's, we're not rock stars here. We're cryptid, paranormal detectives, counseling detectives. That's what we call ourselves. Consulting detectives, excuse me. So, that we're just trying to help people out, but I can't wait to get up there. I'm psyched about it. We got it marked on my calendar. I'm going to lose weight.
And I know you guys are coming in a few days early, so we can take some time and go check out some Sasquatch area.
I know what you want to do.
Oh yeah. I'm totally game for it. We bring you in once a month to tell us about some of the weird, strange happenings around this world. We've tackled everything from the Bermuda Triangle to missing people to Dogman encounters to everything in between. What are you bringing for us tonight, Christian?
Well, when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, one of my things that always fascinated me as a kid, and to this day still fascinates me, is time travel. When I was a kid, I used to watch the old Tom Baker Doctor Who's on PBS after school. In little uptown New England town where I was from, that's all you had. We had 4 channels, and I get to watch Doctor Who every day after school, and that's kind of always made me want to dig a little more into time travel, see how realistic it really is. And the truth of the matter is, it's very interesting, because there's so many people, countries, and not only people, countries, and agencies now work on this stuff. I have to wonder if it actually has happened. I don't know if you believe in time travel, but I do. I think it's totally possible. And I don't think time's linear. I think it's secular. I mean, that's just
Do you think that right now we do have time travelers here?
Yes.
Do you think you've ever met one?
Me? No, I'm nobody. I bet you have.
No.
I'll
No.
bet you have. And I'll tell you why I say that. You know, you reach an incredible amount. Well, first of all, you have a quality program, and you reach an incredible amount of open-minded people. The difference between your guests and guests, or your audience and audiences for other paranormal stuff, is that your people think. You know, this, and I'm not trying to put anyone down. I'm saying, but they have that ability to think. It's like, this could be the way it is, or this should be the way it is, but maybe there's something interfering, and this is why we have what we have. And a lot of people don't give their audience that choice. They just kind of give them okay, here's what's going on, and this is what I think, so this is what you should think. And, you know, you don't do that, and your audience doesn't, you know, expect you to do that. So I think that's why your audience would appreciate the time travel aspect a little bit more, because they have more of an open mind on their own. You don't have to sit there and force feed them the information. They're very, very much open to it. And a lot of people, you know, don't. When you say time travel, no, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I think it's totally possible. I think the only reason why we're still alive here and we haven't turned into a flaming ball of nuclear reaction waste is because we've had time travel. We've had interference. I think we've had people from the future come and interfere and stop us from screwing things up. I think that's where the Mandela effect comes in. I think there's fixed point in times, and we'll get to that too. We'll talk about that. But I think what happens is I think the interference causes the Mandela effect. Now, I don't think you're going to find anyone else going to say that, but that's just me. I've been saying that for years. And I think that's from time travel. I think that's from interference. And I think what happens is you have such a massive change on such a global level that everyone sees things a little bit differently, and they start to bleed in what might have been or what should have been or what is now, and it kind of correlates. And that's why you have these little dips in time or dips in thought processes, and basically the Mandela effect. And I think that's a big part of it.
There's been people who have come out claiming that they have been time travelers. Mm-hmm. Okay. Al Bielek through the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We know that one's been claimed as a hoax. Andrew Bashago and the child chrononauts, the jump rooms, that has come out. There's been other people who've made claims that they've jumped into the future to see different timelines. I mean, how real do you think some of this is? I mean, do you think that that technology actually exists right now?
I think it does, but in a different time. I think we're working on it right now. You know, and the chronauts, I want to say crotons, but something different. The chronauts, or you know, the temporal children, as you're talking about. I just have a problem with that whole story. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense, because why would you send a kid in to do something that's going to change world affairs? You can't trust a kid. And I don't want to hear they weren't fully developed and blah, blah. I don't believe it. If you have the ability to go through time, then you're going to have the ability to go through or bring with you what you want. And, you know, it's probably going to be some kind of capsule, kind of like, you know, the TARDIS from Doctor Who. It's probably what it's going to be, something like that. The amount of power it's going to take to generate that, I have no idea. But I honestly think that we've definitely had interference from the future that kept us from, you know, destroying ourselves. And I think some of these stories, you know, there's that one. Who's that one guy? Goodness, I can't think of his name. He was on Coast to Coast a ton of times, talking about being a time traveler. He started off in the 70s, and he came here to steal an IBM computer.
John Teeter.
Teeter, thank you, Teeter. I don't know what to make of that guy, because everything he said basically came true. I haven't seen, and he's vanished. And then there was the guy that he had $800, and he turned that into $324 million. And the FCC came looking for him because everything he did was high risk. And he the day they arrested him, he said, "Listen, I'll tell you about COVID if you let me go." And then he vanished. So, I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff like that. I don't, you know, I had seen this. Even Muammar Gaddafi, you know, he predicted stuff in the future that he couldn't have known unless someone had told him. I mean, it's just, I'm not saying he was involved with it. I'm just saying, when you're in the upper echelons of world leadership, they must know things we don't. I just find it hard to believe there's not some kind of agency that's not kind of being formed now to keep an eye on things. Because think about it this way: if you and I have access to time control or time travel, the world's screwed. Screwed.
What would be the purpose of time travel, in your opinion?
Me?
It's always fascinated us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a historian. I just want to. I understand the no to interfere thing, but I'm sorry if let's just say I know everyone says they want to go see Jesus. I'd be the first. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be my first stop too. All right. Maybe I slug a Roman. Maybe I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be one of those things where that one little incident could change everything. So I totally see why they wouldn't want any interference, because when you get a fixed point in time, you can't really change it. We'll talk about that. But when you start talking about time travel, one of the things you have to do is basically talk about the math of it. And that's actually not as difficult as we think, because when you have special relativity, that's a time dilation and the twin paradox, and that basically is how high-speed travel can show a time traveler either go in the future or the past. And they've said mathematically that's completely possible. Now, I don't know what agencies are working on it. I'm sure we've got a branch of the government that's fully funded through a black budget ops working on this. Because can you imagine if the Russians or the Chinese or any other country got time travel before us? And I'm speaking basically as a NATO nation. I mean, that would be, you can imagine that? They go back and, push Washington down the stairs, something like that. You can't have that. So you'd have to have some kind of guardianship set up. But I think the people that would be doing that are the people that originated the math to be able to do it. They'd have to be the ones that have like the ability to time, basically time watch, I guess. To have to watch for general disturbances in time, I think. Then you have, the Einstein-Rosen bridge, and that's wormholes, the way they connect the wormholes. If you can connect wormholes and cut that, think about how much that's going to do. I mean, think about it. You could go back and, hey, let's go see my, family in 1963, or, let's go see what happened with Kennedy. You can do all this stuff, but, you're not going to be able to interfere. So I don't know, it could be a tourism thing too. I don't know. There's just so many possibilities. But if you go back and change one thing, what's that? Is that butterfly effect real? I mean, what do you think? I think on a certain line, if you change a fixed point in time, I think you're going to be messing with a whole lot. But I don't know if it's just a little thing.
I think that's the danger of it, is really not being able to control what you touch. Like the butterfly effect. I mean, if all of a sudden, you tell you go back in time and tell your previous self, hey, don't make this decision, don't date her, or don't date that person, or don't take that job. I mean, you could screw with a lot of different things, man. I mean, I've often thought, what would it be like if I said, hey, I'm not going to date my ex-wife? Well, I wouldn't have a daughter. That would really suck, because I kind of like her,
You're one of the few people that likes their kids. I mean, but I'm sure if my old man, God rest his soul, if he had the opportunity, he would have said, no, I'm out. Oh, please, you met him. But
explain to people, we got about a minute to go before we go to break. Explain to people what the butterfly effect is.
The butterfly effect it's really simple. If you could go back in time and if you go prehistoric, say you go 180 to 200 million years ago, and you go back there and you accidentally step on a butterfly, or if you interfere with one thing, or if you kill a bug, or you actually step on that creature, that ripple effect affects time and space from that point. So that set point in time has now been changed, and everything else now is going to be an after effect of what you've interfered in. And that's the butterfly effect. It's a time ripple. It's a fixed point in time. And the problem with a fixed point in time is it is such a saturation point in anything or everything that's happening, that if you change that, you're going to change everyone else's basic future and the planet, universe, the whole thing. It's basically where everything can just run around.
We're going to continue with time travel talk. Christian MacLeod, the Cryptid Guy, Christina, the Cryptid Girl. We're going to be back talking time travel with them. This is Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, there we go.
Gravitational time dilation.
You all right, man?
I'm holding in.
Mm.
I'm holding in.
I feel for you. It was awful, I know.
I think if I don't move, I'm good.
That's what it is. Don't move. You'll be fine.
I don't move, I'm good.
And what he said was true. It's not just because he likes to drink. Alcohol did help. It helped me too.
Well, I got my ginger ale right now.
But there's nothing in it. Yeah, put a little Game of Thrones in there. You'll be all right.
I'll be good.
You got stuff in the back counter right there. What?
No, I was really sick, Julie. She's saying, were you really sick or did the aliens abduct you? No, I was really sick. I'll be honest with you, I'm afraid to move right now. One of my favorite names in our YouTube channel right here.
Square Hammer.
Then I can sing the ghost song. Are you on the square? Are you on the level? Are you ready to stand right here, right now, before your Devo? Because
that's an awesome video too. You talk about Masonic symbology.
What's that?
Talk about Masonic symbology, man. That's all. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I wish I was going to see Ghost. They're playing in Vancouver in like 11 days.
I was doing a tour, and they were playing the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium, and we walked right by that, and as we're walking by it, right there, they started playing Square Hammer. It was awesome.
Square Hammer is a fucking great song.
That's one of my favorite songs. Square Hammer, Dance McCloud.
Cerise is amazing too.
Any remake? Have you heard their "We Don't Need Another Hero" remake?
What was that?
We Don't Need Another Hero. They redid that. That was awesome.
I'll have to hear that.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. They did a hell of a job. They redid a few songs. It's awesome.
It's to me, I think the thing that totally gets me about it is apparently there's this hidden rule that famous musicians have all appeared as ghouls. So this band,
I don't think Elvis did.
His band is called the Ghouls, right? So
he calls himself the Pontiff.
Yeah, and everybody in the band is named Ghoul. And so apparently every now and again, famous people like from different bands, like it's rumored that what's his name? Foo Fighters guy, Dave Grohl has been a ghoul, and a few other famous.
Well, they have those masks, man. They have those big old. You can't tell who's in there.
Yeah.
That's neat. So that's like the fun of it. Anybody could be in there.
Yeah.
It's like or was it Harrison Ford was a stormtrooper and something?
I talked to one person behind the scenes. I'm not allowed to say who it is, but he was a music tech, and he was in Europe working a Ghost concert, and their pianist became sick, and he had to perform as a ghoul one night because he knew their music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a key. It's a good way to keep all the money in one direction too.
Right.
You're just a ghoul. I'm the front man.
We got about a minute and a half.
I love it whenever he calls them, they're labeled the biggest satanic band in the world. Really? That's the best. There's no one worse than, them. That's it. Huh? Ghost is the worst. Okay.
I'm just happy to be here tonight.
I know.
I'm sorry, my energy.
That's
it's true. I'm not even denying this comment tonight.
Dave, that's of course.
If you ever want to know what I look like on the John, just take a look at this. That's what it looks like, people. That's what it looks like.
Again, there's a reason for that face.
The face of discourse.
That's the face of disgust.
All right, we got about 30 seconds. Still waiting for our first super chat of the night. And if you haven't yet, people, we would really, really appreciate it. If you like what we do each and every night, give us a thumbs up. It really helps with our algorithm. Hey, B. Arthur, you're golden. You're golden, B. Golden. All right, we're coming back in 5 seconds.
Fool.
Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. We're talking time travel with Christian MacLeod and Christina from ACAPS, cryptidguy.com, Cryptid Guy, if you're in the U.S., Cryptid Guy, anywhere else.com. Check it on out. Time travel coming on up here. But first, we want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, do us a favor. Check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. All right, time travel. Let's get to it. Christian MacLeod, we're talking about it. Time travelers. Are they here? Are they not? What do they want? Right before the break, we just talked about the butterfly effect. And that's what worries me about time travelers is if they are here, why would they make themselves known? You would think there would have to be some rules, very strict rules they have to follow.
Do not interfere policy. It's forbidden to interfere, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you're not going to interfere, then what are you doing here? So there's got to be, that's why I still think maybe there was some cataclysmic event that was avoided because, someone from the future came back and fixed an issue. It was like we were talking about with John Tudor. The reason why he said he was here is he had to go back to the 70s and get an original computer to fix an issue that they had, in 2036, 2075, something like that. So there's so many different ways to look at this. But if you think about it, I think if we have the ability, if we have a science industrial complex that has the ability to do something like this, you're going to need an agency to oversee it. And I think this could be a big, I think you're looking at kind of like a time cop kind of thing there. I mean, I think you'd really have to look at something like that. And then we don't know the laws either. We were talking about that. There was this one individual, actually it was from Canada, and it was a really weird story. He said that he was fixing his sink and for some reason he slipped into a time vortex and he saw himself 40 years in the future, and it was him, and they actually took pictures of each other. And they had the same tattoo and everything else. Well, it turns out it was a commercial for a retirement plan. It's actually a brilliant commercial strategy. But the questions that are brought up are simple. It's like, can the same matter live in two different, timelines? And then when they converge, wouldn't there be something? Would there be like, something on the quantum level? In other words, can young Dave go, can you right now time travel and meet yourself when you're 75, 80 and you give yourself a hug? What would happen to your particles? I mean, and that's at the subatomic particle. I mean, can the same matter exist in two different spots at the same time? That's always that's a fascinating theory. I mean, if you think about that. So what would happen if you did that? I mean, could that be like, crossing the streams and Ghostbusters? Could it just, annihilate things on an atomic level? I don't know. There's so much to think about here. Whether or not we can do it, I think we can. Whether or not, we should be doing it, probably not, but we're going to do it anyway. But what are going to be the ramifications on something like that? And that's why I like, there's something called the nature of time, and it's presentism versus eternalism. And in the present is real, and it exists in a way that we've already, we're living it, and we have lived in our past memories. But is there a way to get around that, where every moment is a fixed point in time, and if you interfere with one moment, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to screw up the whole timeline? I mean, we don't know these things and how they exist. So if we have the research and the ability to find out, then I say, go for it. But it's one of these situations where you're an undiscovered country here, and I think the people that do this kind of thing, they've gone through this, and they know what they're doing to a point. But the thing, if you don't think people from the future would come back and look at the past, I just don't see how that would happen. I just don't see how people could stop and not do that.
A lot of people believe that you can't time travel forward. You can only go backward in time.
I don't know. I think once you have the ability to do any of that stuff, I mean, time is linear. You can go either way. All right. And if you have a fixed point, that's one thing, but it's linear. What were you going to say?
Some science supports that. We have tachyon particles that we know travel backwards in time. We don't know of any particles that travel forwards in time. The only way that a lot of people's top scientists theorize that you could actually travel forward in time is with cryogenics, is that you could freeze yourself and be there for however many years in the future. So a lot of people do theorize that traveling backward is almost within our grasp, and traveling forward is a fantasy.
Well, that's not true, because the CERN people have just sent particles into the future. Now, it might be a 100th of a millisecond, but they've still done it. And if they can do that, that's just what they're letting us know now. What have they really been able to do? We've got a friend of ours that says, whatever you think. We've got a friend of ours that worked in the government, and that old theory, whatever you think you know, or whatever you think the government knows, they're usually 10 years ahead. Well, he worked it long enough to say, whatever they show you, whatever you think they got, they're actually 40 or 50 years ahead. They're so far ahead you can't imagine. So if they're just releasing that now, they've probably got a working model. I'm sure the biggest problem is the power consumption. You look at some of the old sci-fi, all the time machines were built out of a dwarf star for power. I mean, think about that. So now you've got a star-going supernova, but that's the power supply you need. So, I mean, how are you gonna come up with that kind of power? I mean, is it possible? Of course it's possible. Anything in science is possible, in my opinion, but it's just one of the things when you start looking at the physics of it, like I said, that then you've got the aerotime, entropy, and how we perceive time moving on the one direction. And the reason why people are stuck on the entropy thing, it's the second law of thermodynamics. It's entropy. So that's a lot of the scientists think that they won't even look. Scientists are very, very, they're scientific. They're looking at one thing only one way. They're going to say, okay, we've got this ability to do this, but the entropy is going to keep us from going backwards, so we can only go forwards. I just don't think they're looking into it enough. And I think if you can go forwards, you can find a way to go backwards. I just think that's the way it's going to be. Then you have closed timeline curves, and that's mathematical points in space-time that return to their starting point. In other words, they might branch out here. It's like a massive orbit, but it's mathematically done for all elements in the universe. And they say, every element eventually goes back to its place of origin. Would that interfere? I mean, I don't know, but think about that. Could that be considered time travel? I mean, you'd have to live long enough. But, the cryogenic thing, that's not time travel. That's just putting yourself in a freezer.
Right.
I mean,
here's the other thing too that I think we kind of forget about is with time travel. If let's say you want to travel to 2058 or 2172, when you come back, how do you know you're coming back on the same timeline? Because if you believe in the multiverse theory, what you see in 2172 may be different from me time traveling to 2172 and be completely different.
That's where string theory comes in. See, this is where it gets complicated. Because if you start throwing string theory in there, and if that's real, and I know a lot of people believe in that. Do you believe in that string theory?
Yes.
Okay. Here's why I have a hard time believing in string theory. There's too much. It's just too much to think that everyone's got an identical twin somewhere in the parallel universe and they're all doing something different, blah, 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 blah. And if it's too much. I just don't see how that would be possible. It just doesn't make sense. It's not, I just don't think you can fathom it. I don't think anyone can fathom a multiverse. I don't think it's doable. I just don't think it is. And that's just me, of course. And I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I wouldn't know. I'm not even that good in math. But I'll tell you, to me, that makes sense. I think if you change a fixed point in the past, and then you go back, say if you're coming from the future, you go back and fix something in the past, then you've completely changed the timeline. So that I could see your point on that. But if you go forward and change something, how's that going to work?
Well, we don't know.
Yes, that's the thing. So it's like, what would you? Let me ask you this: if you could choose a place, anytime, human history, all right, but you only have one shot, and it's the only place you can go. You can't get back here. Where are you going to go?
Honestly, as much as it would be awesome to see either Freddie Mercury or Jimi Hendrix perform live, I would totally go see Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And not on a religious sense or anything like that, but if you see that, you know that there's a certain part of history that is very real.
So I honestly think if you talk to most people, 9 out of 10 of them are going to say the exact same thing. But God can handle it. He's like, go back. But I mean, if you think it's fascinating because to me, my biggest draw to this is, as I said, I'm a historian, I'm a history teacher, and this is the ultimate way to see how history really was. If you have any questions about how things went down, let's go watch it. And I think maybe other alien species, they come and watch us from different points in time.
But isn't there a I don't know whether it's a rumor or whatever that apparently in the Vatican or somewhere,
the chronometer.
What do they call it?
Yeah.
The chronometer?
The chronometer. It's called the chronometer, where you can actually watch points in time.
Explain that to people.
Allegedly, this priest, I actually want to say it's like in the 30s or 40s. He invented a device with certain artifacts from the Vatican that would show you actual points in time. And you could see when Christ rose, you could see, Caesar, you could see any point in time. You just had to dial it in. And allegedly the Vatican's got that in their archives. Of course, according to the Vatican, according to some people, they've got Lucifer locked up in the bottom of the Vatican. That's where he's been. He's not getting out anytime soon, by the way. So, I mean, it's just, you never know. That would be one of the places. That's one of my top 5 places on the planet I'd have to check out before I check out. I've got to be there. And at the Vatican archives, that's it. I got to just give me a flashlight, some batteries, a couple of weeks. I'm good.
So it's called the Chronovisor.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently this device was claimed by Benedictine monk Father Pellegrino Ameti to view and record past events by detecting electromagnetic radiation remnants. Supposedly hidden in the Vatican, it was claimed to display scenes like the crucifixion of Jesus and ancient Roman plays. And it did not transport users, but rather acted like a television to tune into past vibrations of light and sound, creating 3D holographic images of historical events. Ameti claimed to have witnessed the crucifixion, a performance of the lost tragedy of Thyestes by Quintus Ennius, and speeches by Napoleon. Controversy, though, about this claims the device's existence has never been proven. The photo of Christ was found to be a reversed image of a postcard, and critics noticed that Thyestes' transcription used incorrect in Latin. So it's still a lot of wonderment of whether or not that was faked or not. But I mean, if they did have that technology, that would be pretty cool.
See, I looked at another article that claimed it was, I mean, the chronometer, or what I called it originally, the chronograph is actually something that came out in 72, but it's the same thing. So I think it's the same instrument, just a different name or different way. But it's this one never had a debunk on it. It was just a rumor, and it was a different priest. But you never know, man. I now see. I don't know how you do that though. That makes no sense to me. How'd you watch TV? You know, from some point in time that happened 2,000 years ago. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the same radiation that you used for the shroud. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a specific frequency. It just doesn't make. I'm again, my brain doesn't work to the point where it can understand that kind of work or understand that kind of math or the intelligent design.
3-dimensional holograms.
Yeah, 3-dimensional holograms, things like that. The other thing, that all affects though, but it doesn't block like the nature of time itself though, because even if you can do that, isn't that still kind of time traveling? Because you're watching something happen. You can't affect it, but is that time travel?
But it is kind of scary to even think that you could see back in time if that machine or something like it was real.
Hey, that's terrifying. It's terrifying. I mean, it's the ultimate lie detector. Think about that. It's the ultimate lie detector. It's the ultimate way to write a history book. And how much of history would be different right now if we had the truth on everything? If you look at a book from a history book in England, according to them, they really didn't need our help in World War II. They were doing pretty good on their own. We just gave them some materials and things like that. That's about it. Stuff I've actually read that, and it just blows my mind. So how much of our history books that we have, in this country, would be changed if the truth were told? I guarantee the Native Americans have a whole different outlook, or people would have a whole different outlook on Native Americans and westward expansion. But that's just the way, that's all how empires work. You've got to expand to create, and create to get your wealth and things of that nature, and that's how you survive. But I can't even fathom turning on the TV and watching. Can you imagine saying, "Hey, let's see what Julius Caesar said right before they whacked him"? Did it really say "et tu, Butte"? I mean, was that even in there, or someone make that up?
But there's a lot of instances like that, and obviously they would, if it did exist, they would never want it out in public because it would. Let's face it, everybody has tried to change history to their benefit.
Oh, yeah, I'd be in Google if I could go back to time right now and tell myself it's got something called Google. Invest in it. Put everything you got in it. That's all you got to do. Microsoft. 2 things. That's all you got to remember. Quit school. Microsoft. Google.
Yeah, but history is, historically, history is written by the victors. If you could go back to any of these exchanges and see who betrayed who, or what the deal really was supposed to be, or whatever, how would that change the way people view things and the way people are able to do things? It would change diplomacy completely. People would think twice about making a deal that they don't plan to keep, because somebody could look back and see exactly what happened.
That's a good point. Like you said, it's the ultimate lie detector. And that reminds me, when you talk about that kind of thing, this whole topic reminds you of the taxonomy of travelers and methods of transition. All right, because he's got a TV that can show you past. What would you actually need to be in the past? And a lot of people think you get technological intervention like a time machine concept, and it's using the concentrated energy to breach a temporal barrier. We don't even know what that is. Well, allegedly, we don't know what that is. But if the temporal barrier can be breached, is it one way? Is it linear? Or is it, is it a dual path like we were talking about earlier, like going back and forth? So, that's one issue you've got right there. And then you've got the biological anomalies, genetic predispositions, or neurological glitches that allow an individual to slip through time. Now, that's kind of like that movie Somewhere in Time. Remember that Christopher Reeve movie where he just focuses on one point in time, then he goes back? That's more like Native American folklore and things like that, when you have an individual that just slips through a different time rift or portal, or things like we were talking about last time, you know, special places on the earth where you can go, you know, voids, vortexes, things of that nature.
That runs on the theory that all
Yeah.
time is happening all at once. It's
Right.
all simultaneous, and you can, through a state of mind, slip into from one time into another and back.
I call that a good drunk. If you start thinking you're in a different time, stop drinking. Put it down. Go rest. Get some water.
You see, that's the scary part about it is for most people, if they think time travel, they think about financial benefit. You know, like if you look back on the Back to the Future movies with you know, the sports magazine, Marty McFly in the sports magazine, you know, where he could make all these bets and become a millionaire, and it leads to Biff Tannen getting a hold of the sports book and making all those bets, becoming very, very wealthy. I mean,
the same thing in 1963. Did you ever see that little? Was it 1963? The one it was off of Stephen King novel. It had it was about a guy who had a diner, and if you walked into a closet, it put you right in 1962. Was it 1961 or something?
It was 61.
Well, anyway, the premise.
I forget what it was called, but it was a Stephen King thing.
But the premise of the book was like there was this fixed point in time, and if you go through it, you come through. And this guy had to wait 2 years in like Dallas, and he's like he's living below Lee Harvey Oswald, and he's learning all this stuff, and everything he thought was going to happen, and it was a complete backfire. But it was on him, like he didn't have any outer source. It was just this one specific spot he would go to, and he'd go through time.
It was like a fixed portal.
James Franco's in it. It's actually pretty good, but it's but that's kind of what this would be. It's a portal. Anyone could go through it.
And when you went through it, you were always going through to the exact same times where you ended up going through it, one way or the other.
Yeah. And when you came back, you would only be 3 seconds behind when you left originally. And that's every time you went through. So I mean, you know, I think that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd want people around. I don't know if I want people in my country finding stuff like that, because it'd be a lot of weird stuff happening.
Well, what's scarier to me with the idea of time travel is not as much the butterfly effect as it is how unknown it is. I mean, if you knew whether it's a fixed timeline, whether things could be changed or not, or whether there's a multiverse, it would make it easier to decide if you want to go back or do something. I mean, I'd be too terrified to go back, not knowing if I could get back to the same time, the same people, the same everything that I left or not.
Yeah, but that goes back to like there'd be variations of time travelers.
Right.
Like you'd have a tourist, you have an architect, you have the refugee, and then you have like a chronicler, and that's the way it's always been broken down. And an architect is the one that wants to go back and fix the issue. Now, see, I'd fall in that category. So I want to fix something, and that would lead to what? That could be to a butterfly effect. So that's just one of those things. And I think the problem is you have too many architects. Another one's a refugee where they're trying to leave, say it's the end of the world, and they want to go back to basically the dinosaur ages or the, Paleolithic times. All right. Well, what would that change?
Somebody who wants to go back and stay there, right?
Yeah,
the refugee. They don't
exactly.
want to go back to their time.
Yeah, but what's that going to? I mean, how's that going to change history?
Yeah.
They're just going to be like little fossils, and hey, these guys had, an iPhone. It's just one of these things. And then you have the chronicler, and that's that's recording lost history for the benefit of the future. And I think most of these designations are designed for do not interfere, except when you have like the architect. And that's something that but that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. When you asked if I thought we have time travelers, and I said, yeah, I think that's who comes back. I think we get the architect types that come back to fix problems before they go away. I think a great example, honestly, is the Cuban Missile Crisis. I still think we had some kind of intervention. What? I don't know. If it was from the future or from aliens, I don't know. But I still think something happened there.
I've never heard that theory before.
Well, it's because I haven't told it to you.
What do you think?
About it makes total sense.
What do you think?
What happened? You went from kids, North America, South America, Canada, everywhere in the world. Kids are doing radiation drill, nuclear bomb drills. I'm old enough. I'll say this right now. when I was in first, second, and third grade, we had bomb drills.
Well,
And that
hold
was
that
lock and
thought.
cover.
Hold that thought. Let's continue with that. All right, because this is going to make for an interesting conversation as we get ready to enter hour number 2. The Cryptid Guy, Christian MacLeod, is here. CryptidGuy.com. Christina is here. CryptidGirl.com. And we love it when they are here with us each and every month. This is Spaced Out Radio. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes. I'm going to put you in the green room. I'm going to disappear for a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
Enjoy yourself.
All right, be right back, guys. And here's my schedule coming up. I am back. Let's bring our friends back. There he is.
Handsome.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, the face.
So handsome. And this thing, ladies, you can buy underpants with that face in the front. So I'll be staring at you all day.
So handsome. So handsome.
So handsome.
Got about a minute to go. Thank you to Paula Foss for joining our membership on YouTube. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who's given us a thumbs up. We try to get at least 100 each and every night here. So if you feel that we deserve it, do it. If you feel that we don't deserve it, who cares? Just do it anyways. Right?
We on the night, baby.
Not at my best, but we'll get there.
Hey, you're doing good, man. You should be
You're
proud of
doing
yourself.
fine. Doing much better than I would have done while I had it.
Yeah. We got like 18 seconds here.
Okay.
And 10 seconds. And here we go. We're into hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. A little under the weather, but you know what? As a radio host, if it doesn't hurt my voice, it doesn't kill you. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has hit the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Ecrinology. Ecrinology is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking time travel. We got the Cryptid Guy here, Cryptid Girl as well. Christian MacLeod and Christina hanging on out with us. We've been talking about what it would be like to time travel. Now, obviously, we don't know if time travelers are actually here, but we can only assume. We can only assume that we have the potential technology to get there right now. And let's face it. I mean, when we go down the conspiratorial road here, Christian, with this, these are toys that the government would never let us know if they had them.
Oh, definitely. Can you imagine? How would you even approach that? I mean, can you imagine an official? Can you imagine, the president getting on TV and saying, yeah, we can time travel, and that's the reason why we're so arrogant, because we can say what we want, get away with it, and then go back and fix it. I mean, I can't imagine how you would approach that.
Or imagine someone trying to leak that information. They'd be put in a loony bin.
Yeah, because if you think that's exactly true, if you say, "Oh, we've got this and this is," you're going to go in the nuts. You're going to go. It was like when Forrestal disappeared off Majestic 12.
Right.
Falling off the balcony, because he committed suicide because he's going to leak that. We've got aliens visiting the Earth and there's nothing we can do about it. It's the same thing. What are you going to? I mean, no one's going to believe it. So, I mean, I think it's kind of insane not to believe it. Like I said, before the break, I think there's been certain events that have kind of auto-corrected. We can't figure out why. And my biggest one is Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis. I think that just kind of somehow fixed itself. How? It doesn't make sense to me. I think there was a hand that was played that we were not aware of. I think that's happened several times. Look at the Cold War. How did that you're going to tell me that was all financial? The Cold War was all financial. And we just beat Russia because we outspent them. That doesn't make sense to me either. That's just two incidents I was thinking about. And I'm sure there's been more in history. if you start researching it. But there's got to be something in there. There's that one quintessential element that put everything into play that kept everything from going, okay, it's the end of the world now. So, I think it's a possibility that we had time travel interference from the future.
Could very well be, or alien interaction.
Could definitely be alien interaction. Who's got more tech than that? I mean, maybe that's how aliens do travel. Maybe they do travel through time. Maybe that's why we have so many pictographs. You've got these 25,000-year-old pictographs in caves in France and Spain, and that UFO up there, and then you've got like 3 or 4 people with, they look like grays. Who told them what they're, someone had to see something. That just
Being
didn't
a
show up.
historian, why do you think when it comes to all the pictographs that are in Egypt and around the world, even American Indian pictographs from thousands of years ago, which they will depict things that look like alien grays or spaceships or whatever it may be, why do these get downplayed so much or ignored in your
Because
opinion?
real science can't explain them. It'll never be anything more than fringe science. It's what guys like you and me do what we do, because it's the truth is being suppressed. It's the same reason why you've got the Anastasia reliefs. It's 12,000-year-old depiction of Bigfoot. Oh, what? And where'd that come from? It was the Native Americans did it. They were very, very well aware. Look at the Mesoamerican technology. Look at the reliefs in the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Toltecs. There's always some kind of universal alien presence, and 9 times out of 10, it'll be a flying saucer with grays, or it might be a person in a space helmet with advanced technology flying. There's always something. So I mean, to me, that's either direct interference or it's possible time travel.
It seems like a very large, important piece of history that could be being ignored.
When you can't explain something, you know how modern science is. All right, let's just take something we've both looked into and had knowledge of. Let's just take the Bigfoot DNA genome. All right, how was that mocked? I mean, what did they do? They went to every length imaginable to block all that information, and then when it did finally get published, it was to the point where the only way it could get published is to actually own the publishing company. So that detracts any kind of as someone that's been worked in the industry like that in education, if you can't reproduce it and you have to buy your own publication company to publish your study, that gives you zero credibility. So they got exactly what they wanted by blocking all that information and making that organization do what it did. So it's the same thing. You can't. The powers that be aren't going to let fringe science and proto history, as I like to call it, be known, because it changes too much. They can't control people.
Yeah, and because the mockery and the discrediting themselves are a method of control. I think a lot more people than you'd think do believe in it. Anthropologists, historians, I think people that study, I think anybody who's seen those reliefs in those caves in Peru, or the ones in Egypt that look like a modern day astronaut with the hood and the tubes and everything. I think anyone that sees those has to see some possibility for it there. But too many people are afraid to speak out and say anything about it because they'll be lumped in with us. They'll be say, you're a conspiracist, I think that they're afraid of the mockery and the possible discrediting. So people believe in it quietly and don't say anything about it.
Then there's guys like us. Can't shut us up. Because, the truth needs to be told. It really does. And we're never going to get the truth until we bring out all the evidence. You can't solve the equation without all the variables. And these are variables that no one wants to look at. And that goes to the pyramids. And that goes to all the pyramids in Thailand. That goes to Aztecs in the rainforest. That goes to the Egyptians. And, why are all these holographs? Why are these hieroglyphic glyphs? They're all the same all over the planet. And no one from Thailand was going to, South America 8,000 years ago. It wasn't happening 5,000 years ago. That's the other thing. We can't even figure out how old these things are. I heard the other day that they think the pyramids are 10,000 years older than what they thought they were. Well, what does that do to the timeline? What does that do to the historic narrative? Because I can tell you right now, the timeline, I've got an Egyptian timeline right here. That blows everything away. That throws King Tut 5,000 years back further than what we thought. So what happened between then and now? How do you lose 5,000 years? How do you lose 10,000 years?
Or all of the newer structures that have been found just recently through the satellites that were covered by jungle and stuff.
Infrared,
yeah, there's been so many that have been found that they think predate those by like 10 or 20,000 years. There's some that are like 25,000 years old. They can't explain. I mean, and you're going to tell me that there's nobody's been back and forth. There was no communication in there. They're built the same shape and the same structure in so many ways.
Man, it's fascinating when you start thinking about it. But like I said, no one's gonna tell the truth, and for some reason, it's probably done by I want to say an accord. I think all the nations got together and they said, okay, when we're going to start doing university and wherever we're going to do this, we can't teach this, and this, otherwise we're going to lose control. And I don't think that's out of the realm possibility to suggest that. It's the same thing when, you talk about seeing aliens and why they won't, how many times have you seen UFO coverage that's just been you see on YouTube once and it's gone? Yeah, because it vanishes. All right. The powers that be don't want people knowing about it yet. When they want it to, it's the same thing with Bigfoot, same with Dogman, same with all the cryptids. When the government wants us to know the truth, they will tell us. And whenever that's going to happen, I don't know. Whether or not I'll be walking this earth by then, I don't know.
But for a field like ours, skeptics will say that's such a cop-out answer.
Cop-out answer. Well, I'll tell you what's a cop-out answer. When the button company bought the fly, they bought the fly, patent for the fly, and then stuck it away for 100 years to keep it from, escaping because they thought it was going to put them out of business. It's the same principle, except it's just control. You got to keep that control. You got to keep that in a little box somewhere. And no one else can see it but you and the elites, because you guys know what's going on. So now you had to hinge your bets and you know how to play for the future. All right. The rest of us, we're not going to know because it'll be too late. And there's so many ways you can correlate this stuff. It's all goes down, the calling of the herd, that all falls into this, it's the same story, different day. Knowledge is power. And it just depends on who's got the power at the time. But you're right. It's very scary when you start correlating it, because it all comes to basically one thing. Where does this end game come out? What's the end process of all this? What's the final result? What is the goal of all this? What's the goal with all the secrecy? And it all is connected. I'm sorry, UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster, all these questions we have, ancient archaeology, forbidden archaeology, all this stuff that we know exists, but no one talks about it. And when you do talk about it, you're made to be like a fool or you're crazy, but it still has some relevance in the historic narrative.
Do you think then that this is technology that will ever come out, or do you see it being suppressed probably for our lifetimes, if not a couple of generations?
See, that's such a good question, but there's what I want to say, and that's like the optimist in me says, oh sure, they're going to show this great technology. They've got this, they've got that. They can fix a human being on the cellular level, get rid of cancer, do all this other stuff. And then there's the part of me that says, no, they're never going to tell us anything. It's just like we get little bits and pieces that businesses can make money off of. And that goes all the way back to, Roswell, as far as I'm concerned. You talk to Lieutenant Corso or Colonel Corso, he said that's the way they were going to do it. They were just going to let little pieces. Every, certain schools and certain contracted government agencies and companies were going to get little bits of information, and they were going to go off of that, and then they'd go in and start, giving us all the super tech. I think if you actually were honest, or if the government was honest with people, and this is a global thing, because I think all governments are guilty of this. But if all the governments got together and said, hey, let's just be honest, and let's see, here's where we are technology wise, and let's see how many people we can help. Why that's not done, I don't know. But I think that's the truth. I think they just keep it secret. It goes back to control.
Control and search for power in the guise of helping people and helping the world, helping humanity. I think it's too easy for them to cover it up by calling people crazy who try to speak out about it. And too easy for them to keep the secret.
Well, it's like the second you call someone crazy, you dismiss them. Mm-hmm. Because once someone, look at 10 years ago, Mel Gibson, remember what he was talking about? Everyone in Hollywood's a pedophile or Satan worships, blah, blah, blah. Everyone said, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Now look at what Nicki Minaj is saying, about, people in the music industry. I mean, it's crazy because you've got all these people now who are starting to be whistleblowers. So it's like, you just never know. And again, I'm not just picking that at randomly. I'm just using that as an example. You just never know. I think if we have another government leak, like we did at Area 51, or we had a Julian Assange that had all the ability to get this information out to people on a WikiLink. I think that'd be different, but I think that they're just prepared too much for that.
I want to get to one question here, if you don't mind, before we get to audience questions. Recently, I'm not sure if you've seen it on social media or not, but a UK documentarian and former guest on this show, Mark Christopher Lee, is saying that there is going to be a disclosure speech happening on July 8th by the president, where the speech is apparently already written up. And the July 8th date is significant because it is the 79th anniversary of the Roswell incident. And apparently the president is going to announce that aliens are here and that disclosure is real. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that story or not, but just
I've never heard of it. But to me, how are you going to sit there and tell the American public that we've been lying to you for 80 years? When Clinton came out with this and tried, throwing out what really happened, and they went to bat with other weather dummies, or they were dummies, and they're being dropped out of a balloon for radiation testing. So that all it does, if they come out and say that, then they just make themselves the biggest liars in history. And I don't see even this president. And a lot of people don't like Trump. I like Trump for one reason. One of the reasons I like Trump is because he's got the balls to do it. If anyone would do it, it'd be him. But I don't know how he would go about that because,
I don't know how he gets around the gatekeepers to do that. But
you're talking 80 years. You're not just talking Republican. I mean, you've had decades of each, so it's.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Let's just say this is true. I don't believe it is. Okay. I don't believe it is for a second because there are certain things the gatekeepers are not going to allow out in public. But if it is true that he does come out, you have a worldwide audience going on with the World Cup being held in North America.
Yeah.
Okay. With billions of eyeballs on the United States and Canada. Number two, I think if he does come out with this, and I was thinking about this earlier today, it could be the confirmation of the WOW signal. Okay, the WOW signal in the 1970s.
Mm-hmm. Still has never been explained.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a signal that was caught from deep out in space. Scientists still don't know whether it was the sound of some sort of space type calamity or if it was an alien signal. I think the safe bet for him in order to start the discussion, if it is true, is we found a signal from a far universe, 44 million light years away. And we have deciphered it to be not of any type of space sound. I think that's the way they do it. I don't think it will be aliens are here. Roswell was real. We have a craft. We have the bodies.
They have to cop to it. Yeah, then they have to tell the truth.
Then you have to start telling the truth.
And that's the problem. Because once Roswell comes out and say, by the way, fellas, You know, that little, I've got a Roswell and Area 51 sign. That happened 80 years ago. We just figured we'd tell you now. The government has they have about as much credibility as Obama's FBI had at this point. There's no credibility because they're lying. You can't trust them. And that's what'll happen. They'll just be completely, no one will trust the government again because they've sat there and they just admitted to being liars for 80 years. Why were you lying for 8? I mean, we're talking 80 years.
But couldn't that be the start of the transparency?
No,
yeah, they lied to you,
80
but we're not going to.
80
And here's why I'm
years.
telling you this.
No, it's 80 years. It's you can't. Maybe you could cover up something for 5 years and save face. But I mean, we can't even get the truth on the Kennedy assassination. They just sealed that other stuff for another 50 years.
True.
You know, I mean, so it's one of these things where I've never heard of that. I'm going to have to check up on that because I'd love to read more about that because that's incredible. But if we had a president that would do it, it would be Trump because it would make him out to be a hero to all the weirdos like us that, you know, are into this kind of stuff. And I kind of think I honestly think he has questions that he hasn't had answers to too. I really do, just from some of the questions I've seen asked to him. But
we also know that Don Jr. is very addicted to the Roswell incident.
I was about to say. Plus, he's got familial ties, and I wish, Dave. I wish I could say, oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Everyone's gonna love it, but I just don't see it. It all senses up because you're right. You got the World Cup, and that's bigger than the Super Bowl now, isn't it? As far as viewership.
Viewership, yeah, it's the biggest event on earth.
Oh, you're gonna tangle with. I mean, that's the best if you're gonna announce something. But when is 31 Atlas A supposed to get here? Isn't it August?
Gone. It's coming gone.
It's already done. It's okay.
Yeah.
So that stuff in August isn't going to happen.
Probably not.
All right. So yeah, I mean that's maybe I was thinking maybe he might say something if they really think that 31A Atlas thing's an issue, and they're saying, okay, by the way, here's what's going to happen.
Well, this thing I'm looking at here says that Lee publicly said that in the speech, the president's going to confirm that a craft was recovered in Roswell, that occupants were found, and that secret programs have existed for decades.
But we already know all that. They're just okay. But see, now they've been lying about it. We already know. We know they're lying. You don't go from flying. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. All right, the fastest aircraft we had in World War II was a P-51 Mustang, and that's on the United States side. 434 miles an hour, top flight. That's it. All right. And then you got Chuck Yeager 5 years later doing Mach 1 with the rocket propelled. No, don't give me the Nazis. We took I know we stole all the Nazis, science and technology. But even that, the leaps and bounds we made just don't make sense. This is another example of where there was something there. Something happened. We went from, transistors to circuit boards in this time frame, by the way. This is where it's all come. This is also the birth of fiber optics. Where did all that come from? All right. You have never seen the fiber optics. Okay, here's the guy who thought of it. Here's how he figured he'd do it. You've never seen that happen. It just kind of showed up one day. I had a buddy of mine that was in the military, and that was his job to deal with fiber optics. And that was in the early 80s. And he said that stuff, they were using lasers to use it to put that stuff together and make it work. And said this stuff was so advanced back then, you had to have the clear. You can't imagine. So, it just, to me, it fits that, if they are saying this, then they're being pressed to, if that makes sense. There's yet another variable we don't know about that's making them come out to say this. Yeah, and that's where I'd go with that.
Absolutely. If there's either something else that has to be explained later, or that has to be covered up, or there's definitely another agenda or reason if they're coming out with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's something's forcing their hand, because again, it's all about power and control.
It's always about control.
Always, yeah. And that's with every guy. I love it when your former prime minister came out. We've talked about this before, and he talks about aliens. And as far as I'm concerned, he's one guy in your country that would know, because I'd say that's a big issue. I'd say that's a threat to the country, wouldn't you?
Well, there's always a big threat. But even though, that literally I don't think is coming from aliens, but from whatever else is out there. I'm going to get you guys to hold on right there. When we come back, we're going to take some audience questions. We're going to hang out. we're going to talk some weird, strange things with the Cryptid Guy and the Cryptid Girl, Christian MacLeod, and Christina.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear. Lots of good questions. Are you guys going to stick around with Robin too?
I'll see how she's feeling. She's still a little tired.
She's fine. Look, she's wide awake.
We'll see. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes. Maybe. Probably.
What are we drinking tonight?
Sprite.
Jameson and
Christina?
Coke. Jameson and Coke.
Drunky.
What's in your Coke?
Jameson and Coke.
Isn't that nice? Isn't
helps.
that?
My drunk wife.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Not yet.
They have to give you
Need to look like from his thing. Yeah, that one.
How you Dave? You sound good, man.
You do. You sound a lot better than you say. You
I mean,
do.
I know you think you're low energy, but you're really not. You
It's here up and here down. Like this part is good.
Yeah.
yeah, but you haven't lost a second, man. You're good.
Yeah. I get slowed down when I'm.
Because I'm not moving.
He's like this.
Yeah, but your brain doesn't seem like it's working.
Yeah, you don't have medicine head.
I keep having the pukey heartburn burps.
Oh yeah, those are
Those are
bad.
worse.
I
Oh, I
love
hate
those.
those.
That makes me feel really good.
Yeah. That's just,
You know,
Yeah, I hate those.
it's not good.
not a big fan of those.
Oh. Yeah, there were days when we were both dealing with that. They were like, "Are we gonna eat today or not?" Because
Thank God for 2 bathrooms. I'll tell you that.
oh yeah,
I've been going in the sink. Garbage disposal. I don't give a damn.
yes. Thank goodness we have a 2-bedroom apartment.
2 baths.
The 2 bathrooms. Yes. Ooh, that's the
Power
important thing.
toilet. I punished that toilet. Still cries at night. He's not amused.
I'm so zoned out right now.
Oh.
So how many days did we go see? 16 days till Bachelor.
16.
We're going to see Bocelli.
Are you?
Oh, man, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. We got real good tickets. So
That'll be really good.
Yeah.
Neither one of us has ever heard him sing before live. So.
I'd love to hear him sing.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I want to see Andre Rieu.
Yeah.
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 I want to see Anna Netrebko too. She's incredible. She is incredible.
You ever get a chance to see Lindsay Sterling? She's pretty amazing too.
That is one of my buddy's favorite. Like his phone screen is a picture of him and Lindsay Sterling.
Yeah, I saw her. No idea who she was until I saw her in October.
Yeah, she did Who Wants to Live Forever with the 3 tenors, and it was incredible. Like she made that.
Yeah. She's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, didn't they tell her she was like a joke? Wasn't she on America's Most Famous? Or
Yeah, she was on America's Got Talent or something like that.
and then Simon said she was like, this was what you do was stupid, or like she got booed. It was ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. Well, she didn't get booed off, but she got like he was pretty cruel to her.
Yeah, she didn't make it very far,
Yeah.
but she stuck with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah. She's amazing.
She showed them.
Yeah.
She showed them.
She's not worried about benching any checks.
No.
In fact, she's done stuff with all kinds of products. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's pretty incredible to see her perform. It's ridiculous how good she is.
Yeah, Brandon.
All right, we got about 15 seconds here. Thank you to Matthew Gutka for our lone super chatter. Thank you to Paula for joining our membership on YouTube. Don't forget, if you haven't yet already, give us a thumbs up. Helps with the archives. And here we go. We are into the second half of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in as we continue the charge on this show with Christian MacLeod and Christina in the Encounters. We're loving this show. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions or others, check our archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. From American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, we have our good friend Christian MacLeod here, along with the Cryptid Girl, Christina, hanging on out. You guys ready for some audience questions?
Of course. This is my favorite part of the show, by the way.
All right, Paramarv's kicking things off. What about Madman Markham, who claimed to time travel and space travel from Missouri to Cincinnati, Ohio?
I've never heard of that one. Of you?
This is an old Art Bell guy.
No clue. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go to either one of those places, but that's just me.
What are you watching? A street in London, Senate in Rome, a forest in Russia, or a bottom of a lake in the Jurassic period? Just choose.
I'd go Senate in Rome, street in London, a forest in Russia, specifically for the Conquista. What's that Conquista blast in 1918 with the forest?
Oh yeah.
And then the
There is
Jurassic.
no way I'm going to the bottom of the lake in a Jurassic period.
Why, man? That'd be awesome.
No way.
Only if you're in a protective vehicle.
It says what are you watching? It doesn't mean
It doesn't matter. There's going to be something in there that makes me look like this. Right?
Yeah, that's definitely the face. That's protection.
Well, if you could just look at it through the chronovisor thing, the bottom of the lake in the Jurassic period would be pretty darn cool.
Necessary Dialogue wants to know, have you ever come across fairies?
I've never seen them, but we've come across fairy statuary, I guess you could call it. Sometimes we're out in the woods, especially in Appalachia. Appalachia has a very long history with the fae. But every once in a while, really, really out in the woods, middle of nowhere, we'll come across like little piles of rocks that are stacked up, and they'll be very small. I mean, you're talking maybe an inch, but it'll be 4 or 5 of them. It's like almost pebbles. But the way they've been put together, it's like, in circumference size and up. It almost looks like a round rock pyramid. And I know Tiny's convinced he's seen water spirits, and he's totally convinced he's got one around his property. But I'm a firm believer they're out there. I wouldn't want to mess with them. I think that also explains why a lot of Native American folklore, you have the little people. I think that's just fairies, the fae.
When you come to my area, almost every house in my area has a fairy garden.
Yeah, gotta
And
be friends with the neighbors.
I remember, true story, one night, oh goodness, this is probably going back about 8, 9, maybe even 10 years ago now. I went outside during one of the breaks, and on two of my fence posts down at the bottom of my fence, there was a orange and an orangish red orb sitting on two of my fence posts, just sitting there. I'm like, oh, the fairies are out. I got to watch them. That was kind of cool. Now, I didn't see them fly off or anything like that. Now, my daughter, when she still lived here, she used to go out in the backyard and meditate, and she claimed the fairies would come on in and actually land on her, which was kind of cool.
Amazing. I would love to see that.
I'd be checking the neighbors.
Yeah. And they would eventually start coming into her bedroom. And she said they'd be all colors of the rainbow. She said it was really cool.
So a lot of people get scared of. I don't know. I've never seen them. Tiny, like I said, Tiny's had run-ins with them before. He said that they love them.
Yeah.
He said he loves having them around. But I think it's one of those things where if they know you're there to do no harm, they're
So Walter's asking, what's a fairy garden? It is nothing. It really is a piece of completely untouched nature in a garden-like setting where you just let everything grow naturally. And normally, apparently, it's according to lore, you put up a little doorway to a tree or something along those lines. And apparently that keeps the fairies happy.
And I thought you planted flowers.
You could, flowers in the area.
Flowers, nothing but nice, peaceful.
Yeah. Keep everything as natural to the area, though.
Nature. And if something grows on its own, you don't weed it. You don't pull things out of it.
That's right.
You let it be as nature intends.
You got that right. Big question here from Knucker. Are you a team rock or a team stump guy when it comes to Devil's Tower?
Good question. I'm gonna go with Team Rock.
You're boring.
No.
You're
what are you on the other side there?
I am totally team stump.
Why?
Because it looks like a giant petrified tree stump.
It's a rock. It's all rocks.
Prove it.
All right, I'll meet you there. We'll take a sample. We'll avoid it'll be a heist. We'll need a van.
That'd be something to do with a time machine. Go back to see when it was formed.
Yeah, there you go. Use a time machine.
Figure it out.
Necessary Dialogue wants to know, how would you travel back in time? A ship, portal, something else?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the technology is probably going to be a ship, or it could be a portal. But the problem with the portal is how you're going to get back.
It depends on whether you either find a wormhole type portal, like that one that was in the Stephen King thing, or whether it's a found thing or whether it's a development. I would think that if you're going to actually travel, there'd have to be some kind of ship or something that you get in to do it.
I think because of the radiation and everything you're probably going to encounter.
We
don't even know. I mean, temporal radiation is one thing, but we don't even know what kind of radiation you're going to go through when you create that much of a electromagnetic force to rip an opening in the time-space continuum.
For a human, you'd need some kind of shielding, whether it's or like in Galaxy Quest, how they get coated in the liquid oxygen. You never know what's gonna be part of it, but there's got to be some kind of shielding, something you'd have to be in.
I think we both agree on ship. What about you?
I think you have to go through like a jump room or a craft. That's the way I would say.
I mean, you've got to have some kind of protection.
Yeah.
That's why I really don't know. I mean, the romantic side of me isn't a DeLorean. It's more like the Austin Powers type of thing where you just jump into the little swirly doorway and end up on the other side, right?
Yeah. Right.
That makes things really easy.
Right? Let's move on to your question.
You might need both. Maybe you need a craft and a jump room, and maybe to create the field and then to go through it. I don't know.
But I think one thing we all agree on is that it wouldn't be the Terminator principle. I don't think we could go through naked just ourselves and not,
surprise a lot of people.
You know what? No, before we get to the next question, though,
is Bigfoot an alien?
It does make it interesting. If you look at movies like old Arnold Schwarzenegger movies like Running Man, Total Recall, Terminator, I mean, these were literally prequels to what we're about to experience. It's scary when you think about it.
It is.
Scares the daylights out of me when I sit back and think, wow, like I don't even want to watch these movies anymore, because literally with AI and AI videos now, we're pretty much at the exact same point.
Do you ever notice how every time you ask an AI about the future, it's very dark and it's not a happy place to be.
I haven't even just tried that yet because it scares me.
Yeah, I did that. I'm not doing that again because it also gets very, satanic at some point.
Well, in the AI stuff, there's just so much of it that I keep thinking about Terminator. Are we about Skynet? Is Skynet about to get
Well, what,
here?
Skynet's what? Another 2 years until Skynet takes over?
Right?
Great. All right. The question is Bigfoot an alien from Earth or something else? All right. Bigfoot, in my opinion, this is me, and I've been doing this 28 years studying this furball. I think if you look at it this way, you'll answer your own question. Who is better designed to live on this planet, Bigfoot or human beings? Think about this. Bigfoot, strength, can see in the dark, smell, retractable claws, vision, camouflage, doesn't need to cook its food. All right. It can disappear in the jungle. It can disappear in the woods. It can disappear in, the Sahara. It doesn't matter. Wherever, the Yowie, the Indian jungle, wherever. It's basically designed to live in this beautiful place we call the planet. And then you take humanity. We can't live anywhere on this planet without cooking our food, clothes. We're predetermined to how long we're going to live between temperature, and we have to have, protection from the sun. We can't swim too deep. We can't fly. There's a lot of stuff the human beings, we're weak on. Our vision at night's not good. We don't have fangs. And again, we have to cook our food. So if you ask me, if someone was an alien to this planet, would it be Bigfoot or humanity? I'd have to go with B, simply because Bigfoot's designed for this planet, and we're not.
I would think that Bigfoot is some sort of alien.
You watch too much Star Wars.
I really would. Now I'm not saying it's flesh. It's not flesh and blood.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. I'm not saying that it isn't whatsoever. What I'm saying is there is some sort of supernatural ability that this creature has that seems to be very, very much in tune with what we have for environment. Okay. Why haven't we found a body? What does it do with its bodies? Even if it buried its bodies or put them in some sort of cave system, we would literally still have bones being found. Because
what if they eat their dead?
Pardon me?
What if they eat their dead?
Still be bones.
Yeah, they'd be bone fragments. There's reports of Bigfoots turning on other Bigfoots after they kill them and mutilate them. They smash their bones in the trees, or they smash their body in the trees so they're mush, and they sit there and eat it. So, I mean, you never know.
Could be.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but it could be.
Could be possible.
I think my theory is more plausible that, they could have access to different dimensional areas where they can come in and out of.
I want to transport myself to the kitchen and get another drink here.
Sure.
All right, Davey. If AI freaks out, robots just give them milk. I don't know what that means.
All right, let's go with another question here. Let's go to Walter here. Let's go. Once we travel to and land on the moon again, our government will have to disclose ET info. Do you agree?
No, unless something happens that they can't stop it. I mean, there's a reason why we haven't been back in so long. I mean, this all goes down to, do you think the original moon landing happened? And I got to be honest with you, I'm split on that 50-50, man. I still think Kubrick, I saw that thing on his last words talking about that. And I just don't know. Is it possible that could have been faked? Of course. But what would it, why would they do that? Just stick it to the Russians and say, hey, we got here first. And then there's a part of me that says, well, there's got to be something that we've had some kind of contact up there, how to get up there. But I mean, what kept us from staying up there? I mean, we should have had a colony up there by now.
Unless we already do.
Huh?
Unless we already do.
Yeah, exactly. Unless there already is one. and then, but unless, they're showing a touchdown and then all of a sudden a bunch of little aliens starts waving, I don't think they're going to say anything. I wish they would, but I don't think they will.
I think that we have a base up there. Could be. Can't prove it. But, I also believe a lot of our astronauts who saw things and test pilots who saw things up in that higher end of the atmosphere. I think of the X-15 pilots. There were 3 of them, including Neil Armstrong, who claimed that when they were flying the X-15 at around Mach 6 or Mach 7, that they were being followed.
Paced and followed,
And they were being paced, and including allegedly one of the pilots actually took a picture out the window of one of these spherical craft. Now, NASA, where is it? Where is it?
We're never going to see it. It's
right.
It's in the ether, man. We're never going to see that stuff.
Right. And you look at video footage of almost every launch that happens. There is something following the craft going up, and it's not drones. This goes beyond drone technology, before drone technology.
Also, well, there's even that one from the 80s where the rocket's going up, and you see a little blue, where you see a little blue little light next to it, and you see like a bolt come out of it, and the thing blows up. There's that one. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like that. I'm just a firm believer if you were a superior alien species and you're part of like a real federation of planets, do you really want humanity out there doing what we do? I mean, think about it. We're terrible. We destroy everything. All we do, we just we breed and consume and pretty much destroy what we have. And we're incredibly violent. We can't even get along with each other. So would you want that out there on a galactic level? I'm one of them, and I say no. That's a bad idea.
Well, I think it also goes to show too that the excuse that NASA has used that they destroyed all the rocketry and symmetry and mathematics and physics to get there, or that once the mission was over because it was a political mission, it was never a scientific mission, it was a political mission, that once they had won that space war, so to speak, with the USSR, that they didn't need the technology anymore. I don't buy that. You don't throw away history like that. I know about your country, the American country. You guys love your history too much in order to throw things away.
Well, no, it's not only history, it's technology. You're going to sit down and throw out a plasma. Oh, I don't like this plasma TV anymore. Let me go back to the old, remember the old color TVs with a big bump in the back?
Captain Ray tubes.
And they had the wooden cabinets. And when you turned them on, you heard the boo. I'm with you. No one's gonna throw that kind of technology away. And what's funny is they never explained why they never went back. I don't buy too expensive. I don't buy that. But you build one. What was one of our aircraft carriers cost $2 trillion? We don't need so many. We have more aircraft carriers than everyone combined on the planet.
One aircraft carrier of the United States Navy has more jets on it than most air forces in the world. Like, for instance, one aircraft carrier of the United States Navy has more FA-18s than the Canadian military has.
That doesn't surprise me. And then that's just the stuff we tell people. We don't really know what's on those things. You get like the Gerald Ford. Isn't that the biggest thing on the water that's ever been made? And that's an aircraft carrier, 2 nuclear power plants on it. We don't need a bunch of those. Spend the money on the space program. But I'm sure they did both. This is again, these are questions we're never going to have the answers to.
Well, I think too, when you open up that can of worms, we don't know how many satellites are turned away from Earth
No clue.
to look for these things?
Mhm.
We have no clue. It could
Yep.
be hundreds.
All the privatized satellites up there, the stuff, national Elon Musk.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me Elon Musk
mean,
doesn't have a ton of
you know,
them looking for?
I mean, look at Robert Bigelow. Whatever happened to Robert Bigelow? He's still around. His satellites are still up there. You just never hear from him. So, I mean, you've got all these private companies and all these famous people with all this money, and then you've got all these countries looking up on it. Everyone's looking for the same thing. We're all looking for the next best deal or next biggest, better thing. So it's only a matter of time. I think once one satellite finds it, they're all going to lock onto it, and and then it'll go from there. But
nobody makes any mention of it. As far as the news is concerned, SETI's the only thing that's really looking out there.
And aren't they supposed to go back to the moon this year? Is it this year?
Yeah, the astronauts are now in training for it.
Yeah, so what are they in training for? I mean, they're astronauts. They should be ready to go.
No idea.
So that's my question. You're telling me like the top 1% of the top 1% of the planet pretty much isn't ready to go into action at any given time,
When are they supposed to launch?
I have no idea.
I know here for a second. When are we going back to the moon?
I just saw the that and the group that's ready to go to Mars.
Yeah, Artemis 2 is supposed to launch for the moon in March. So we're a month away.
So that's a month away. Weather provided.
And space debris provided.
Well, that's the other thing. Is and then so we're supposed to go back to the moon, and then Trump's going to have a speech. 3 months later? Was it June, July? 4 months later, he's going to give the speech about this. That does seem a little weird too.
Allegedly.
Well, I know, but the timelines. I always go back and put a timeline together. Just to me, that's just how my brain works. But that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because why would you be putting people up there unless you had something else going on?
That I don't know.
And I bet you're right, Dave. I'm willing to bet you anything there's a space station up there, because it's not. The way it was explained to me is they just basically make these canvas bags. They inflate them, and then they start producing oxygen, or they start making oxygen somehow, and then they just keep expanding these things. I mean, that's just why they look like domes, but they're just these big canvas tents. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what it looks like to me. But I can see all the shuttle missions we've had, all the stuff again, and how many times does stuff get launched? We don't even know it's getting launched. So and they don't have to launch from the U.S. They can launch from anywhere on the planet. So I mean, who knows? And then
that's really the big mystery of it all. I mean, how many objects are up there? I mean, and people will say, well, China's put up rovers up there. India put up a rover. It really didn't work.
Did we ever see anything from India?
No, I don't think there's actually worked when it got up there.
I don't even think it got there.
But the point that I'm getting at is, people are like, well, we would see these things. Well, you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see it unless you parked it right beside, the previous landing zones. You're not going to put it 250 miles away and all of a sudden, I can't see it. It looks barren around here. Well, of course it does.
Well,
Right?
And then the other thing is, and then you take into account, look at the Dark Side of the Moon, which is not just one of the best albums ever, but a real cool place to go. But how many people have said, well, there's a base here, and this is where they, and that's astronauts. Said here's where their base was, and there's these massive craters, and it actually looks like a door when you look at it. I mean, the Lord knows what's up there. You just don't know. And that's the sad thing. Here, how sad is this, Dave? We don't know because the government won't tell us.
Right. And that's really what it comes to.
They just leave us to think, oh, no, there's just nothing up there. And if you talk to anyone that, claims to have a scientific mind or blah, 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 oh, there's nothing up there. Well, then why are we going back? I don't know. Okay, well, and then 20 years ago, is there water on the moon? Because now can we colonize the moon?
Cryptid Guy, Cryptid Girl on Spaced Out Radio. Hour 3 is next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Guy, are you sticking around?
Yeah, we'll stick around, man.
All right. I'll be right back, everybody. All right. I'm back. Let's bring in Robin.
Hey, sweetie.
And there's your friends.
Hey,
Hello, darling.
hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good. Nice to see you too.
David's not feeling very well tonight, Robin.
Dave's got the squirts.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie.
Yeah, this is day number 3.5.
Oh, we're live. Huh? Oops, didn't know that.
One word, ivermectin.
One word, Guinness.
One more, 2 words, toilet paper.
No, I'm telling you, it gets rid of all of it. Nobody believes it, but it really does. Like, I use it for colds, for flu, bronchitis, pneumonia, you name it, I use it. I've had so many people that have been really sick lately. And one of my clients was really, really ill. She went on all the antibiotics, did everything the doctor said, nothing was working. I said, get on the bloody ivermectin. She was on it for 2-3 days, was back to work. It makes a huge difference.
Is it just ivermectin? When you get the ivermectin, what's the?
Fenbendazole, the other one.
You get the fenbendazole ivermectin or just the ivermectin?
The ivermectin is the fenbendazole.
Is it the same thing? I thought there was a double compound.
Yeah, I think it was.
There's 2. You can get Panicure and ivermectin. The Panicure and ivermectin, when taken together, kills cancer cells.
Okay.
All right, guys,
Slowly,
we have
but
30
it does.
seconds here before we're going to go.
Yeah.
Big thank you tonight to Deborah Rooney and Matthew for the super chats. Thank you, Paula, for becoming a member on our YouTube channel. And shop at our Spaced Out Radio store, will you? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Why? Well, because I don't like wearing things that are ugly. So neither should you. So let's get going here right now.
Just don't be ugly.
Here comes the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We have Swamp Dweller, then Robin Haynes coming on up. Christian and Christina are sticking around as well. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Acronology. Acronology is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. This happened when I was a small child, probably around 4 after I experienced what I know now was a near-death experience. I was with my grandmother, who was very healthy, still is very healthy for a 70-year-old woman. We went trekking across our property with a picnic basket in tow, just looking to sit down with our dog and have a nice time. Normal grandparent stuff. We ended up crossing the creek. It was dry at the time, to go back to the pasture. Nearby, probably maybe 50 yards away, was our cedar tree. We sat down and started eating when our dog started acting crazy. This dog, bless her soul, was an angel. It did not act like a dog most of the time, though. She rarely ever barked, never really jumped, and always acted very polite. She went nuts, running in circles around us, growling and barking and just acting so vicious, something so out of character for this dog. My grandmother got concerned, so she put our picnic stuff back in the basket and tried to calm her down. I was sitting a few feet away, scared because my dog was growling and acting very out of character. I will admit my memory gets a bit fuzzy around this point, but I remember seeing a very large, gray creature step out of the creek and tree line. We had previously just walked through that area, which is why I remember it being so creepy. My grandmother scooped me up and booked it out of there as fast as possible. Our dog was running with us. I am 90% sure she ran to the cedar tree. She always talks about it being her favorite tree and how protective it is. The tree was a lot closer than her house, which was roughly a half-mile away at this point. I just know our dog calmed down and I was happier once we got to that tree. I don't live in the Southwest. I live in the South Central/East area of Arkansas, close to Louisiana. So I have no idea what this thing could be. Some people say skinwalkers, but like I said, I don't live in the Southwest. Some people say Wendigo, but I don't live up north. So I'm not exactly sure what this is, but if anybody knows, and you can comment down below, please let me know.
All right. Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to just like that. Hey, it's time for Robin.
Robin Haynes walks soft where the tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptid Q&A.
Robin Haynes, it's always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, my dear?
I'm good. Glad to be back. We didn't have internet last week, so I couldn't show up, and had the whole ice storm. We didn't get it nearly as bad as what other people did. Just shut down the internet for a while. We kept our power, though. That was what was weird.
Damn internet going out. I'll tell you, what would we do without the internet these days? Oh, my goodness.
I know. And you think about when we didn't have it or we didn't have the cell phones, and it's like, wow. We were in like caveman times back then.
I actually sat down with my boy the other day and played a board game. How rare is that these days? Who has board games anymore? I think we all have that closet section that has like the old Monopoly and Clue, and
that's where everything lives.
It's chessboard somewhere, and that's it.
Oh my gosh. That game, Don't Break the Ice. My kids would make me sit there and play that game for hours. Oh my God.
My favorite game growing up was an electronic board game called Stop Thief.
Oh, wow. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it came with it almost looked like, you remember the old, how do you put it? The old telephones that, the cordless telephones.
Mm-hmm.
It came with something like that, and you'd have to punch in a code on it and everything. And it was absolutely amazing. And it made all sorts of
I can remember the kids making me play Operation for hours too.
We used to do like 2-3 days, 72 hours straight Monopoly.
I loved Monopoly. That was fun.
But I mean, we'd be having beers, and I mean, it was beer Monopoly at that point.
They got so serious about it that it came to real money. They started using real money.
We ran out of money, and then I kept stealing money.
I was never into the board games until I had kids, and then we had to play games at all times. And Trouble. They thought when they would play that game Trouble, it became a life and death situation.
Oh,
it was like all of them against me. Who was going to take out mom? I was dead woman hopping around that little Trouble game. And then whoever, because I had more kids than there was spaces for it. So, I couldn't just play one game. It had to be all of them every game it was, let's go after mom. Like that was the goal. They didn't care who won as long as they took out mom.
Wow.
I've seen Candyland turn into a fist fight.
Oh yeah, Candyland was blood.
I'll get you violent.
We didn't say Risk. Risk would always turn into a fight.
I love Risk.
People in my family wouldn't talk to each other for months because of what happened when we played Risk.
When they got older, I loved Clue. Clue was fun. I played Monopoly like Clue, but yeah, they were into that. When they were little, it was that Don't Break the Ice and Trouble. They would play that for hours. I mean, it would literally start in the morning and go throughout the day.
Do you guys ever play Balderdash?
Yes.
Once.
You would be good at Balderdash.
Oh, yeah.
BS.
My big one growing in my 20s, my buddies and I, we'd have marathon games of Risk. where that would go sometimes a couple days.
Oh yeah, days.
Then we'd both have to go to work and then come back that night to continue playing, and it was crazy.
Do you take pictures of the board and stuff?
Oh yeah,
of it.
Keep everyone honest.
Absolutely.
Because Boz, we had a marathon Monopoly, and everyone had to go to work. So my buddy Boz went and bought a Monopoly game just to steal money. So you had all this brand new money, and this game was real old, and then he had all the money that was torn up. So we knew he was trying to. But that's the lengths we would go to. Terrible people.
That's just terrible.
Lots of cheating.
Oh, it's horrible.
I had more fun playing hide and seek in the woods with the Sasquatch. That was a lot more fun.
I still love that. Kids today, they don't get a good midnight or an evening game of kick the can or hide and go seek in the middle.
I know. We used to do that every night. We loved it.
That's because we're Gen X. Our parents didn't let us inside, right?
Oh no. The parents were like, okay, outside. You got to be outside. You got to be outside for X amount of time. And I'm like, yeah, right.
My mom would lock the door on us.
Oh, yeah.
My mom would literally lock the door on us. She's like, get the hell out. And then she'd lock the door. And they ain't coming in until 5. The lights are on, or 6:30.
Yeah, come back when the street lights come on.
That's how a whole day would be spent. There was no concern for lunch. There was no, you're out. There's
I never had that. Mine didn't do that, but it was always, when that street light goes on, that means that you're supposed to come back in the house. And, when I was really little, it was woods around us, but it was like a dead end street. And so all the kids would hang out in that dead end. So then all the parents could like spy on us at the same time, because we were all like corralled in the dead end.
Were you charging people to show them your underpants?
You know what? I didn't. I should have.
I think you did.
I always liked the underwear that had the cute little things on it. So it should have.
You get a couple bucks for that.
All right, let's get to the monster talk here. Otherwise, we'll be talking games and childhood memories of all times. Let's not. Next we'll say, how many people do you know that were actually killed by lawn darts?
Oh my God.
They refuse to die.
Right. It's just the way it went. Monster talk, though. Christian and I were debating earlier, Robin, about whether or not Bigfoot could be an alien type species because it disappeared. He's one of them science people who believes that, there's all sorts of, answerable questions to where the creature puts the body.
He'll learn eventually.
Eventually he'll learn. Christina is, so much better at understanding this than Christian is, but hey, what do you do? What do you do?
That explains it all right there. That photo explains everything. First off, there are some scientific explanations to some of the stuff they do, but that doesn't take away from the fact that on the father's side, if you ask them, first off, some will tell you they are children of God. Others will tell you they're part star people. That's both correct, because God created the heavens and the earth and the multiverse and everything in between. There isn't anything he didn't create. So they are both actually right. But they do get paranormal abilities off of that father's side. It's all created through vibration and energy. So if you want to get scientific, you can use that. It's like when they cloak, they will explain it to you. They don't have a problem explaining it. They simply raise the vibration and they vibrate enough to bend the light around them. That's how they cloak. But when you get to watching them levitate, shape shift, do various different things that they do, that's when you get a little bit more into the ET side. The ET side still goes through the consciousness, it goes through the vibration, it goes through the energy, the frequencies, all of that. So you end up going back into the quantum, because that's where everything is into the quantum. Now, I'm not a quantum physics guru. Okay, what I know about it, I learned from them. I didn't learn it from a book, so I didn't study quantum physics. So there you have it. But they are very upfront about where everything comes from and how they do it. And it's all based on consciousness and the collective. And it's all frequency and energy. No matter which way you slice it, cut it up, try to turn it around, put it in a scientific book or pull it out of the dang book, it's still the same thing. That's how they do absolutely everything they do. It's like when they zap you. You can be standing, and I've had this happen before. Have somebody standing shoulder to shoulder to me and they drop them to the ground like a stone and nothing happened to me. Okay? Knock on wood. But at some point, do I think I'll get zapped? Probably. Everybody usually does. I'm just waiting for my turn. But they have that much control over it. But they control it because they can control how they use the energies and the frequencies. It's like when I teach my classes. We don't just pull up energy and frequency. You're going to learn how to control it. You're going to learn how to make sure you hit a target that you want with it. It's all about the control of your energies. And the more you control the energies, the stronger it gets. And they're masters at it. All the cryptids are. So are the ETs.
Christian, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm sorry, baby. I just have to see it. I'm not throwing it out of the realm of possibility. Now, when he talked about infrasound, I'm the first one. I buy the infrasound thing because I've been knocked on my butt a few times. And I know Tiny and I, we were in Marion somewhere, and we had lost time, and you had the ringing and almost nausea, all of the sound like. So we've both been hit with infrasound. Actually, I think I saw the guy that did it too because he was on the next peak up. But that I'll totally buy the infrasound thing. The cloaking thing, I'd have to see it. That's all. I just have to see it.
Yeah. See, I've had them walk up to me and then cloak standing next to me. I've had them levitate in front of me. Like I've seen all these things. That's why I think it's easier for me to go with that because I've physically seen it. I've physically watched them shapeshift. You know, like if I hadn't watched a lot of this stuff, I probably
like what did they turn into? They're just a different animal, different what? Just
when they shapeshift?
Yeah, when they shapeshift.
Oh, I had one that when it came, and honest to God, I had security cameras outside, not for them, but because I like to watch the wildlife outside because I live out in the woods. And I had one, it came in and it was really, really dark. It was the size of an elk, but it was shaped more like a deer. And it came in, walked over to my big pine trees, stood on its hind legs, and it's like using its front hooves and it's reaching over and grabbing branches off the tree. And I'm watching this on the security camera and I'm thinking I'm losing my mind. And it's eating, it's doing this whole thing. And as it's standing there, it literally morphed into a Sasquatch. Like I watched it physically go from one shape into a Sasquatch. It walked up to my garage, walked over to my front porch, sat down on the front porch step. And I'm sitting there watching it because it's not like I have to be at the window because I'm watching the whole app for the security camera on my tablet. And I used to put bird feed out in the middle of the yard because we had a ton of cardinals before they ate all the cardinals. But it was sitting on the front porch, and instead of standing up, it did that duck walk like we used to do when we were kids, where like your knees are bent and your butt's on your calves and you waddle like a duck. And it did that all the way over to the bird seed. And then I sat there and it was squatted down. And I'm watching it taking handfuls of bird seed in its hand, putting it in its mouth, eating it. And the next thing you know, I watched this thing literally morph into a freaking raccoon. Like I had that video for a long time. I must have watched that thing 100 times. And then after it turned into a raccoon, it kind of looked around and it scampered off across my yard and left. You know, I mean, it was absolute insanity. And that's not the first one I've seen do it.
Do you think these guys, how long do you think, just say Sasquatch has been encountered with man? Like, are they in Europe? Like, they're
everywhere. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that ability they have to, what do you call it, morph into other things? Do you think that's where the transmogrification for like werewolves and vampires came from?
I think it's entirely possible. I know of one Dogman that talks about that. I seen somebody that looked human morph into a werewolf? Absolutely not. Have not seen anything that even resembled.
That's where the whole mythos came from, is probably because they, maybe 1,000 years ago, our ancestors were out there in the woods hunting and they see a Bigfoot transform into a deer.
I would
or a
think
big
so.
bear.
I think there's a good possibility of it. Now, I will say I have not seen a Dogman shapeshift, but I know they're capable of it. They've talked of doing it. I have seen them, when they've gone from physical to cloaking, but
I think a lot of people think they shapeshift when they go from basically bipedal to four-wheel drive. I think a lot of people think they're probably shapeshift when they don't realize how big their shoulders are.
Oh, I know, and they're so broad.
They have the ability to do that.
Have they told you what they can change into?
No, I've not seen them not change into anything they don't want to.
Yeah.
I had two, and I have a picture of it, that were sitting out in my bushes, and they can change their colorations even to blend in with whatever the foliage is around them. People have seen them go and morph like into the side of a tree. Now I've seen them do that as well. And these two were sitting in my bushes right next to my fence where the dogs were at, and the dogs were all excited to see them. My dogs love them. They play with my dogs. I've caught them in the backyard doing belly crawls and playing with my dogs. And they've never hurt any of my animals. In my entire lifetime, I've never had an animal get hurt by them, including my mini pigs. And these two were sitting in the bushes, and the one was more bald on top, but it still had the hair on the sides, and they looked green. They literally looked green because they were sitting in that foliage. But when they stood up and walked away, I have a picture of them sitting there where they looked that weird green color. But yet, when they eventually stood up and walked away, they went back into their normal coloration and walked through the woods. Like, it's really bizarre. I wish I could explain it better, or everybody wants this scientific evidence. And I get that because science is hardcore proof. It's physical. It's 3D.
Yeah, but even if you had it, Rob, even if you had it, they debunk it. We were talking about earlier how, a certain friend of ours had to buy their own publication, get a study purchased, and that just.
Oh, yeah. And when we come out, as soon as the Dogman results come back from the cryptid study, which I've asked the Dogman, I know what they're going to say. I will see what the study shows. Nobody's going to listen to it. They're not going to believe it then either. We're doing it strictly because it's the right thing to do to finish up what was done and started with the Sasquatch one.
Do you have do you have any idea how long that's going to be?
No, we're waiting on the labs. We literally have no control over that. Oversee it, yes, but we're dependent on these other labs to get it back. It takes time to do it. We want genomes pulled. We want it done correctly. We're using more than one lab, and we're at their mercy. It takes time to do it. But the thing of it is I get why it's so hard, but when you're dealing with science, and this is, I'm friends with Dr. Ketchum, and I'm part of the project, and that's all science and everything, and that's great. But the reality of it is science works in a third dimensional world. We are not third dimensional beings. Nothing is. We have a physical body that's 3D that houses our consciousness, our soul, our frequency, and our energy. That's what we are. We just have to have a housing unit for it. And that's what these third dimensional bodies are. Now you have a third dimensional brain, and within the confines of that brain, it is allowed to believe certain things. Anything that does not fit in that third dimensional brain, your brain will tell you is false because it can't cope out of it. I get people that come to me that are trauma people. And they're like, okay, we've got all this time that we can't remember. We want you to psychically go in and tell us what's wrong. Can I do that in a red hot minute? Will I do that? 9 out of 10 times, no. And the reason is because your brain is third dimensional. It can only handle so much. The reason you are not remembering it, and this is not when you have like an ET experience. I'm talking about abuse in the third dimensional world. Your brain can only handle so much, and then it shuts down and it makes you think it's not real. So that's why you're not remembering it. So what I do with people is I work with them on their energies and their frequencies, build that frequency up, and the memories come back in a very natural way. They're not in the third dimension, they're in a higher frequency, and then they can cope with the trauma, they deal with the trauma, and they move forward.
Robin Haynes in the Q&A continues, and we got Cryptid Guy and Cryptid Girl still hanging on out. This Spaced Out Radio.
This is Spaced Out Radio, and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, guys, we are clear.
But yeah, I mean, in that third dimensional brain, everything is going to be fake. Everything is going to want an explanation, and they want an explanation by science, because science is a third dimensional thing, because it's physical proof. You can't deny it because it's physically there.
Yeah, the reason why we brought this up, we were talking earlier, and I didn't use Melba's name or anything, but what I said is it's, science is so rough on people in our particular field is they make it impossible for us to prove anything. I mean, look what they did for Melba. Melba had to buy a publication to put out the results she got from a private institution because they made it impossible for her to do it any other way. It was impossible.
I know. I was part of it.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, but look at they did that on purpose. Instead of being, the open science community is supposed to be, hey, this is something new. Let's look at this. We've got scientific proof that says this genome is this. We've got mitochondrial DNA that says it's half, 10,000 years old.
And it would have been in all the other published journals had the government not come in and shut that down. But regardless,
it's not fair. That's the point we're making. It's just like, if they don't want you to know, you're not going to know.
No, but this is why people have such a hard time even believing in it, because our brains are third dimension. They are very limited on what they accept. It's like, and we've talked about this before, we've all had that experience where there's somebody that was mean to us. We don't know why. We don't know them. We've not done anything to them. They were just mean. And then everybody is like, why? Well, because you're a higher frequency than they are. They're a lower frequency. You can't put low frequency and high frequency together because it makes the low frequency too uncomfortable. Your body reads energy before it ever goes into that third dimension. It's instantaneous. So when you come into that energy field or that radius of somebody else's energy, and they're higher than yours, it makes you feel uncomfortable. There's a lag time from when the body reads the energy till it gets to the brain. So what happens is by the time it transfers from the body reading the energy to the brain, it comes off as anger, hatred, dislike, distaste, whatever. So that's why you have those experiences where, why was that person mean to me? Like, I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. It's not even you that they don't like. It's your energy. They were a low frequency person that can't handle being around somebody with a higher energy, and the third dimensional brain won't accept that. It all comes down to energy and frequency. I don't care how you slice it, how you do it, how scientific you get. It all comes down to the same thing.
Get that, Dave?
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's why a lot of people feel like a square peg in a round hole, and they feel like that their whole life. 99.999% of the people that come to me are in that category. And they just want answers. They want to know why they feel like they're so different than everybody else. I get along with everybody, but why do I feel like the round peg in the square hole? Because you're a higher frequency person that's living in a third dimensional world. You're never going to have balance. You've got to have balance between the 3D and the higher frequency, which is very easy to obtain, by the way. But this is why you feel the way you feel. This is where you get the connection with the cryptids. This is where you get the curiosity about the cryptids, because there is that part of you that's a higher frequency that taps in with them. It's like with my people now, I've got every single one of and it's not because of me, it's because of them. They do the work. I just help get them there. They're all got communication going. They're mind speaking. They're getting visuals. They're getting pictures. They're interacting, and they're doing it in a safe way. They're doing it with ones that are kind. It's because they're high frequency people that they've always been. They just needed to know how to tap into it.
That makes sense.
It worked. I mean, it does. And that's exactly, Christine, what 90% of the people Actually, 100%. It's at the end of it. When I work with them, they're like, "Oh my God, this just makes sense." Like, it's not rocket science. It makes sense once you understand the dynamics of how it works. And it has nothing to do with me. It's their journey. They're the ones that are making the achievements. I'm just along for the ride and kind of pointing things out.
Riding the coattails.
Yep, just telling them how to get there. That's it. You know, I'm kind of like a GPS thing. I just tell them the directions of which way to go.
I'm just riding Dave's coattails. That's my plan.
Right?
Oh, I plan on
Blame
doing.
me. When in doubt, blame old Davy.
I'm not blaming you, baby. I'm riding your coattails. That's all there is to it.
How we do it around here.
That's it.
All right. We got 20 seconds, guys. Seconds. Thank you to Deboruni. Thank you to Matthew for the super chats. Paula, thank you for your membership. And here we go, everyone. We are into the second hour, or make that the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Wow, where am I? My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We got Robin Haynes and Christian MacLeod and Christina still with us tonight talking about some Bigfoot and everything that goes along with it. But first, if you've missed most of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Website, spacedoutradio.com, and we're on all social media platforms as well, so you can check us out there. Robin Haynes, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. I'm glad to be back. I missed everybody last week.
Yes, Bigfoot. Whether or not it's flesh and blood, whether or not it's supernatural, or whether it's a combination of both, it's still the big debate on what's happening in the UFO creepy world. Is this a debate, guys, you think will ever end?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Never.
It's never going to, no matter what they come out about it. You know, there is talk of the disclosures, you know, for the ETs. We'll see it when we see it, I guess. I think even if they come out with that, it's going to be so limited that it's not going to give out a whole lot.
See, I don't think they're ever going to come out with. We were talking about that earlier. And Dave, what was the name of that guy you were talking to, or you can't give his name? That said that Trump was going to come out and.
Oh, Mark Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee
came out. He's a documentarian out of the UK, saying his sources have let him know that July 8th is going to be Disclosure Day.
Yes, he's not the only. What?
You think that's actually going to happen?
I don't think it'll come out as we want it. I know what is in the works, that they're going to have to come out with something over the next year to 2 years, probably before then. I do know from other sources that is supposedly a done deal about July 8th. Do I think it'll come out as that? I think maybe something of that nature. They're going to have to, because of what's coming up. They're going to have an explanation for some things. Do I think it's going to be the disclosure we want? I really don't. Okay. I know right now we have several races of ETs that are here on this planet for a very large event, and that will happen. I do know that over the course of the next 2 years, there will be some technology going on that will come from them. So they're going to have to come up with reasonings on that. They could say it's military. They could say it's not. We also have some extraordinary technology that will hopefully be made open to the public in April. Again, they were going to try to do it before, and it was not done. So I'm hopeful that in April it comes out. I pray for all of our sakes that it does. So they've got to come up with some explanations.
Do you think this has anything to do with the fact that Artemis 2 is going back to the moon in March?
No.
So that has nothing to do with it. So there's nothing.
Not that I've heard. I'm not going to say conclusively because I don't know, but I've not heard that. And I don't.
This is just me personally, Rob. I'm just saying. I just find the timing very strange. That after all this time, we're now going back to the moon, and then this is allegedly going to happen with Trump in July, and then there's going to be all this other. So is it like, are we lining something up? So it's like a,
well, things have been in alignment
here.
There's things in alignment for all of this for years, for decades. Okay. We have certain political situations that have shut it down. We've had the cabal that has shut it down, things that have not been able to come out due to the cabal. Then that's being taken care of. I think that I want to say within the next 2 to 5 years, we're going to see a whole new world. And I'm hoping that it goes through as the planning of it goes, because it's very needed. But I think people need to be aware that, number one, the ETs have always lived here. It's not a new thing. Okay. They've been walking around since as long as I can remember. People don't realize that there's hybrids that are all over the place. We've got them down in inner earth. We've got them coming and going. I've been abducted since I was a baby. You know, the first time I remembered it was 4. Last time was a couple months ago. You know, I mean, this stuff goes on all the time. I work with abductees, and this is very real. You know all about the Benny and Barney Hill story. You know, I mean, this stuff, it's not like it's a big secret. So releasing the secret, guess what? Secret's been out for a long time. Just cop it, own up to it. There's a problem as far as them doing that, and the reasons behind it, I think, suck, but they think they're valid. There's going to have to be some kind of a disclosure at some point. Will the one in July 8th be what they say? From what I have heard, it's supposed to be pretty significant. Do I think it will be? No, I think we always get disappointed.
Well, what is significant, though? I mean, my idea of it, if I were to give my 2 cents, I don't see them disclosing anything here. I do see them saying, going along the lines, Robin, as I stated to Christian earlier, that maybe it's the wow signal that comes out as being real, or they found another signal somewhere.
You know, and that's entirely possible. They have, all I know, and I have not seen the paperwork. Okay, so I can't say that I've seen it with my own eyes. What I have heard, and this is not news that was given to me from any type of military personnel, so I'm not taking credit for it, but there is supposed to be somebody that I know of that has seen the document from it. I don't know this person well. I've had one conversation with him, and it was not about this, but he had announced it himself. And he's seen the documentation. It's supposed to be quite outstanding. Whether or not that will be changed beforehand, I don't know. I personally, my own me, I don't think they're going to come out with, guess what, guys, we've been lying to you forever. Hundreds of years, we've been lying. This is what it is. That's not going to, I don't see that as happening. Is that all true that they've been lying for all this time? Absolutely. They've known about it. They knew about it back with Eisenhower. They knew about it prior to Eisenhower. The deal he made was ridiculous. And he got double crossed.
Rob, in all fairness to Eisenhower, and I'm not defending him. If you read The Day After Roswell by Lieutenant Colonel Corso, he says straight up, they had no choice. They had no choice. What are you going to do? Tell these guys no? They're going to do it anyway.
And that's possible.
Get something out of it.
Yeah. I'm not going to. Yeah, I was not there. I was not with Eisenhower. So I'm not going to say that didn't happen. I would never do that because I would have no way of knowing that. Do I think that's possible? I think that's entirely possible. These things have always been here. They've never not been here. And when you go to some of the grays, they themselves will claim that they are us from the future because we're so stupid with the nuclear warheads. Now, is that true or not? Only they would know. Do I think that it's true? I think that the possibility is absolutely incredible that it could have been that way. But I have no way of knowing. I wasn't around when it happened. But I do know that these things are real. They are here. They're on our planet, which is also their planet, whether we like it or not. They have helped us at times. Now, absolutely, there's bad ones, just like there's bad people, but there's also a lot of good ones. And right now, what I know, and from where I'm sitting, the good ones are saving our ass. So we need to be grateful. And I do, then we have the people that think, well, if they're an ET, they're demonic. Number one, there's a difference from being demonic, being bad, being evil, or being good. Those are all different.
See, I agree with you on that
Yeah.
because there's nothing worse than someone say, "Oh, UFO, all aliens are demons in hiding." It's like that's ridiculous. How do you know that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Last I knew, I don't buy into that. I don't even let that go into my little pea brain because, I teach people when I'm doing this energy work with people, there's a way, your body's a human lie detector, and it's done by reading the energies. And so the first thing I teach everybody before we even start is how to read the energies so that you can tell if it's a lie or if it's the truth. And anybody can do it. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, you can do it. And it's super easy. And when you even do the lie test on it, it's very clear. These things can be good. They can be bad. I've done healing work on the good ones. And I've refused healing work on the bad ones because I can choose who I do healing work on. But there's good and bad in everything. That's just the grand design. That's the way it works. You can't have just good or just bad. It doesn't work that way because in order to keep everything completely good, you would have to do bad things to monitor it to make sure no bad came in. We were created with free will. Bottom line. So everybody has that choice. But these things have been here as long as we have, probably before. Who knows? I just know that they've always been here. Whether it's an inner earth, whether it's walking among us. I've been attacked by the bad ones that were walking around. I literally got picked up, levitated, pulled off of bed, ended up claw marks all over me by bad ones. And I've also been helped by good ones. So, it goes both ways, but I'm still more fearful of our people than I ever will be of the cryptids or the ETs. I've got that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've got that video that my son-in-law took. I was standing next to him when he took it on my front porch that MUFON has went over and scrutinized a million times. And they think it's one of the best UFO videos they've had. They used it at their top symposium 2 years ago. It's incredible. Dave, I can send it to you if you ever want to use it on the show. It's incredible. And it shows a Pleiadian ship. It took me years to find out it was the Pleiadian ship. And out the back of it, it shot out. 2 more ships were released. And I did a freeze frame on those ships and blew it up. And they're incredible. It really and truly is incredible. I've had ships land out in the yard when I was outside. Of course, then I had missing time afterwards. But regardless, I remember the ships landing. I had this little, I don't know if it was a drone or what it was. It was only about 6 foot around that landed right down in my front yard where I'm at right now. And I couldn't get grass to grow there for 4 years because of the residue from the radiation that comes off these things. I know it's hard for everybody to understand it, but the reason it's so hard is because everybody stays in that third dimension. There's a saying that I came up with a long time ago, as stupid as it sounds, that says within the frequency, energy, and light, you find yourself. And that's the absolute truth. We are more than we ever thought we were. We were never just a third dimensional person. We are a third dimensional body that houses what we really are. That third dimensional body needs food, sleep, and fluids. That's it. But it's also very vulnerable. And it's very limited at what we can do. We are not limited. We are so much more than what we ever thought. And once you get out of that construct of that third dimensional brain, you can see things on the clarity that you get. And it's not, it's not that you're living in a fantasy land, because you start to see things through a higher frequency of vision, and you see these things around you. And then you get to see the Sasquatch and the other cryptids that don't even have a name. And it continues to grow. You continually change and evolve. You don't stay in one spot. It's like, yeah, I mind speak with the Sasquatch every single day, among other weird, bizarre things. Some of these things, I don't even know what the heck they are. But I also see them in the physical. I've had them come within 2 feet of me. I have them physically speak to me. So if you want to get into the third dimension, okay, you're in the third dimension. They're standing there 12 foot tall, standing in front of you, and they're talking to you. It doesn't get any more real than that. But you have to be open to the experience. And the only way to be open to the experience is to get out of that third dimensional brain. Because this world is going through a frequency change, whether we like it or not. And people are going to go into that higher frequency. And as they go into that higher frequency, the learning kicks in.
Do you think that also thins the veil between, the paranormal and the regular world?
Absolutely. The higher frequency, when you get out of this third dimension, in which the world is changing, there'll be a lot of people that will be left back and stay in the third dimension. But when you get your frequency high enough, you start living and working within the higher frequencies. It's like, you three, you're already in a higher frequency. You've been in a higher frequency. And it changes not only how you think and feel and the experiences that you get, it changes what you see. Okay, when you stay in that third dimension, you see things in a third dimensional state, which means you look outside, you see your driveway, the tree, the grass, whatever's out there. And that's all you see. When you raise your frequency, you get to see things through what I call the paranormal spectrum, which is a higher frequency of vision. You're going to see things that are moving through the trees. You're going to be in your house and you're going to see these little things that dart across the floor because they're either little people, elementals, dimensionals, whatever. They like to hang around. But you start seeing things that are there that you never saw before. You're not crazy. You're simply becoming who you were supposed to be, and you're seeing what's really there. The third dimension is not the reality. The higher frequencies and the higher dimensions are. We live in a matrix. There are planes. Before this conversation we're having now has already happened on another plane, and on another plane before that or below that, it hasn't happened yet. The Sasquatch talk about going to the plane that Jesus is on and sitting at the base of the throne. And they are very adamant about it and very descriptive on what they see. The whole world cannot be crazy. Crazy is a term we use because we don't leave the third dimension, and it's the only thing to explain it. But that third dimensional brain shuts everything down. And it stops you from seeing the other things that are out there. Like if you're in a really bad state, if you're really depressed, you're down, whatever, if you notice that you don't have clarity when you're in that state and you're not seeing a lot. The Sasquatch certainly aren't going to come around because when you're in that kind of a state, if they think you're hurt, they might, but if they don't, it physically makes them nauseated. They can't handle being around it. It's like I can only
4.5 minutes to go here. Robin, how do you tell when that is happening? How do you tell when things like this are going on?
What part? I mean, what part are you asking me? I'm sorry.
Just in regards to the whole frequency aspect.
Well, you can tell if your frequency is up by what you're experiencing in your life. If you are lacking clarity, if you are not able to have contact with some of these things that you want, if you are noticing that that you can't comprehend some things that might be a little bit of a stretch, your frequency is too low. And it does not mean that because your frequency is high that everything, is right. There's things that are pareidolia. There are things that really are not true, but you'll be able to check it with your body because you read the energies. Everything is in energy and frequency. That doesn't matter how you mess around with it. You can deny it till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, frequency and energy will get you everywhere you need to go. It will help you heal internally, physically, and everybody's going to find out I would say sometime within this year that frequency will also help heal your body in a major way. And I cannot wait for that to finally be going public because everybody's been sitting on it for years.
Is meditation and focus how you tap into the frequency?
No. Focus, yes, but you don't. No medication is necessary. This is all
meditation.
Oh, I thought you said medication. I'm sorry. You can do it through meditation. There's nothing wrong with it. But what I tell people is and what I teach my people, if you're going to meditate, which is a beautiful thing for calming yourself, centering yourself and other things, and it does help raise your frequency, don't be doing that stuff and talking to stuff until you learn how to read the energies, because you might be talking to something that says his name is Winnie the Pooh, and you talk to him every day in meditation. You don't know how to read the energies, and one day it comes in and says, hey, it's me, I'm Winnie the Pooh, and it's a devil incarnate. Everything has an energy signature. Energy signatures do not lie. It is impossible. So once you learn to read these energy signatures, then when you're talking to things, then when you're in meditation, then when you're working in the paranormal spectrum, you can keep yourself safe. And you can use that frequency that you have, which is a higher frequency, as a protection. So it gets really in depth. But yeah, and I'm a big believer in meditation. When I meditate, I don't do it very often, only because as soon as I try to meditate, everything that's brother's talking to me, and they talk to me enough when I'm not meditating. So I pick and choose my meditation times. But you don't have to, but you can meditate. There's nothing wrong with it. It gives a lot of people a sense of peace, a sense of calmness, rationality. So there's a lot of good positive things that can come from meditation. It's not a necessary part of raising your frequency, no. Okay. It's already inside you. You just got to know how to tap into it, and anybody can do it. It's so easy. But it is life-changing. I've yet to find one person that has come to me about it. And I've worked with people about this even before I opened my business. So it's not a business play. I've done this for years. And they are definitely a different person afterwards. And they're like, you're right. I now feel like I know who I am. Where I was happy before. Don't get me wrong. I had a good life, whatever. But now I feel like I'm actually who I am. It changes everything in your life. For the better. But it definitely changes it. And if you're trying to get contact with cryptids, they're high frequency being. If you have not got a high frequency, you're just spinning your wheels.
The old wheel spinning by Robin right there.
Yeah. Well, Joe Monk. Look at Joe Monk. Perfect example. His adore him. Joe is of a higher frequency. Has he tapped into it and done a lot of the work to tap into abilities? Not that I'm aware of. Doesn't mean he isn't. Just because I don't know doesn't mean he doesn't. But they love him because he's a higher frequency person. Okay? It's like, I do frequency stuff. I get along quite well with the cryptids. I'm not anything special. I'm not anything better than anybody else. We're all in the same playing field. But I went into that higher frequency. So it's more comfortable with them to relate to me.
See, Cryptid Guy, that is your problem. You're not of the higher frequency. And when you have a negative mantra,
for the love of Pete, don't show the cryptids that picture. You will terrify them.
Robin Haynes, thank you very much. Christian and Christina, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun as we say goodnight to the crew. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. There we go. There we go. Good on you, people. Good on you. Cryptid Guy gets schooled.
Schooled, I say.
Poor Christina's going to have to stare at this all night long.
You know, that is what nightmares are made of. I'm just telling you.
That is the greatest picture I've ever taken.
Oh my goodness.
That's hilarious. You're kidding. I roll over to that every morning.
You are a brave woman. Brave woman.
With my pale pasty ass.
What's funny is when we lost power here and it got really cold, he was sleeping in his big flannel outfit, red flannel and black sweatpants, and he had a longshoreman's cap on. I woke up and I was in bed with a lumberjack. It was hilarious.
How long were you guys without power?
About 48 hours.
Almost 48 hours, yeah. We had nothing.
We got really lucky. We didn't lose power. We lost the internet. That was a given. And getting a signal, like I could get like once in a while a text out, but I couldn't, like, to do a streaming service, that wasn't going to work.
Oh, no, because even when we got our cable and power back, the cable was still sporadic. I couldn't do this show because everything was like still kind of, we'd have it, and then blink off, blink off, one of those things. And that, to me, that's more maddening than anything.
Yeah, no, we were really lucky because we didn't lose the actual power. Because I've got, my daughter and her husband and a 2-year-old here.
Yeah.
And so we had the generator obviously ready to go. And I went out and bought space heaters because there was no way I was going to let her get cold. But we got really lucky because we didn't lose that. So that we were fortunate. It got cold, but we were fortunate we didn't go through that. And, it was worse even, I think, when we had this last cold blast that went through. Like my poor little mini pigs, they didn't know what to think. They don't do precipitation. They don't do cold. They have air conditioning and heating.
This weekend, right?
Yeah, we're supposed to get
snow
again
this weekend.
Yeah, we had about 3 or 4 inches.
We got about 4. I was a little surprised.
You guys talking
we
like
usually got that much snow in a while.
Yeah, we got all this.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan. This was nothing. Dave, it was hysterical. Okay, I'm a Michigan girl. So I'm like you. I'm used to the heavy feet of snow, And you go up to Walmart and they're fighting over bread and they're ripping the shelves clear of food and milk. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God. The next day, there's literally 4 inches, which is nothing. Okay, the 2-year-old was having fun in that. And they closed down the entire town. Walmart was closed because they had 4 inches of snow.
Everything shut down. They shut down. We didn't even get mail.
We haven't our garbage hasn't gone in 2.5 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, we haven't had garbage pickup.
2.5 weeks.
It is a pile.
That is
like New York City out
ridiculous.
there.
I mean, I went to go to the dump before the snow started, and I took it up there, and they shut the dump down because you couldn't even take your trash up there because there was impending weather. These people are
That's why
nuts.
just leave it in front of their house, find where they live.
That's awesome.
You're damn right. It's called vendettas.
Absolutely awesome.
The world would be a better place if we all started taking them serious.
I was just happy we got to the snow. Our puppy loves it.
Oh my gosh, one of mine, he's 8 years old and he had never seen snow before. He couldn't get over what it was. He had fun playing in it, but then he kept going to the window and looking out the window, and he'd look at me like, Mom, what's happened? Help me. There's something going on.
I think we'll get a little bit more. Oh, excuse me, that'll be the end. That'll be the end of winter. I'll get one more snow. I don't want to call it a storm. Snowfall.
Ooh.
Well, as a Florida girl, I got excited. Might not have been that huge, but I got excited about it.
So normally in my town right now at this time of year, it's usually about 20 to 30 below zero.
Yep.
Celsius. We are approximately 36, 37 degrees right now. And that is going to continue like spring-like conditions right through the next 14 days. People in my area are freaked the hell out right now.
Yeah, my
I
son
walk
called me.
around mosquitoes complaining about the heat.
My son called me from Michigan. He's like, "Mom, you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're fine. We kept power." I said, "What's it like there?" And he's like, "We're 20 something below zero, and 2 feet of snow." He said, "We're all good." I'm like, "That's what I'm used to." I was born and raised in Michigan, so yeah. I crack up. These people are just, and I don't mean any disrespect, but
They
just
shut down
ridiculous.
the city. They shut down the city.
Government offices, the schools have been closed for days.
I don't think the kids have been to school in 2 weeks.
No,
Or honestly, because we had the ice. There was the ice concerns. I think this is week 2. I honestly think this is week 2 because they were worried about ice, and then they shut that down, and then it snowed, and then God forbid there was snow.
And basically, we had thick ice for like 2 days, and that was it.
Now the ice wasn't it. I will say that, but they don't prep for it right. They don't salt the streets. They don't even plow half of them.
No, I
Yeah.
had the first day we had ice, and it was just a very thin ice is all we had here. And I let the dogs out. They've never seen snow. They've never been on ice. They run out into the backyard and then have a panic attack and cannot get back inside because they're now on ice and they don't know what it is. So I go out there and I had shoes on, but it was a thin layer of ice. And it was just a tennis shoe. So I'm sliding. So I take off my shoes because if you're barefoot on a thin thing of ice, it immediately melts it so you can get on the ground. So I take off my shoes. I'm barefoot. I walk out on this ice to go bring in 8 dogs because they're all standing in the middle of the backyard having a panic attack because they can't get a grip to get back in the house. I think you are all.
Man, I would have left them out there.
I was like, they're just panicking like you guys are ridiculous.
Last year at the hotel,
Yeah.
digging his toenails into the carpet.
Oh my God, the claws.
The claws.
Hey, Dave, you didn't have to see his white ass. I'm just telling you, until you have to see that, you have not gone through the bowels of hell.
I didn't think you could see that.
Oh my God. I've never seen anything so walls are not as white as Christian's butt. I'm telling you.
And I tried to tell him, I'm like, are you gonna come? And he said, don't censor me.
Oh, yeah, he's back there yelling, "Don't censor me!" So Christine is like, "Okay."
Like,
she just opens the door.
And Rob was like, "Oh my God!"
There are certain horrors I can't unsee. Okay,
poor Christine.
Christine still won't look at me.
Well, it was so funny because she's absolutely right. He was going, "Don't censor me! Don't censor me!" And she's like, "Fine." At that point, she was kind of like throwing her hands up. She just flips the door open, and Christy Sci-Fi and I are standing there, and we're like blinded by the light that's shining off of his ass.
But I mean, it is white.
Yes, it is.
If you bought bright white paint and painted it, it could not be whiter.
It's a gift.
Holy cow, just railing on you here, buddy.
It's
I mean, it's like, for the love of God, get a spray tan, do something, dim the light.
Well, we go in the tanning bed. That's what I do now. So.
But he wears his boxer briefs in there.
Oh my God!
Still white. It's still white.
Yeah. Now he is laying there bare butt naked on the bed, and all you could see was the glow.
It's called angelic.
It was called eye burning, is what it was called.
Yeah. Magical.
And poor Christy couldn't look at him.
Still can't.
He just looked the other way. I'm standing there in shock, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, please, for the love of. And then all night long, he kept getting up and running across the hall to my door and pounding on my hotel door. And then he'd run back in his room.
He did keep doing that.
He did that all night long. And I was like, I don't know who's doing it. Like, seriously, how can I not know who's doing it?
I am glad I wasn't there that time.
Dave, be grateful. It's the little things to be grateful for, Dave.
I did that to Kumbo too. He was going nuts. He goes, "Someone kept banging on my door." And I was
like, was there any doubt? There should never have been a doubt as to who it was.
He had no clue. I wasn't going to do it to Jim because I think Jim would throw down, but
On that note,
I
I'm
didn't want
going
to
to bed.
by Jim.
I'm going to bed because I'm not feeling well.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
You
sorry.
feel better,
Robin.
sweetie.
All right, Dave.
Thank you,
We'll talk to you
Cryptid
later.
Guy.
It's good seeing everyone.
And
Yeah,
if
it's good
you
to see
ever need a home
everybody.
remedy- you ever need a home remedy for sickness, just I'll send you this.
That's all you
Oh
need.
my God. Now that will return the sickness, although the bacteria might run like hell too. You
That
never
photo
know.
may make an appearance at Nebraska Bigfoot conference this year.
Yo,
You get feeling better, Dave. We love
Bye,
you.
Dave.
Tomorrow
Bye.
night on the
Love you
show,
guys.
everybody, Aaron Kuhn is going to be here talking secret space program. Thank you to Deborah Rooney ×2 and Matthew and Benno for the super chats. Robin, thank you for your love. We'll see you all.
We love you.
Everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I can't even find a leave button. There you go.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.